Chapter 719. All right, go back to your room and cultivate after you're done eating. Chu Si, follow me to the Alchemy Guild and see how Bai Yi's talent is. See if there's a chance to get her to join us. If that's the case, I believe that our sect can still be powerful without me. Yes, young master. Chu Si nodded respectfully after hearing Lin Rei's words and did not refute. By this time, most of the dishes had been served. Looking at the delicious food on the table, Lin Li's appetite was aroused. However, he didn't seem to be affected at all. Ignoring the strange look on Zhuge Mingyue's face, he reached out and grabbed a demonic beast's leg and began to eat. At this moment, he was not affected at all by the strong. He was like a hungry ghost who was obsessed with the food in front of him. Ha ha! Seeing Lin Rei like this, Xiefeng stood up and poured a bowl of wine for Lin Rei, as if she was afraid that he would choke. As for Xiefeng's wine, Lin Rei did not hesitate and downed it in one gulp. At this moment, he was really gulping down wine and meat. He was just short of saying a slogan, and he would really become a bandit. Lin Rei and the others swept through the food like a tornado and left nothing behind. The 6 jars of wine were also emptied by Lin Rei. In this short period of time, Zhuge Mingyue was sitting at the side with her back straight. Only her eyes were darting around. No one knew what she was thinking. Of course, this was not what she wanted. She also wanted to eat. She also wanted to drink, but she could not speak, let alone move. Therefore, she could only protect the painful torture in front of her. The meal was quickly finished. Looking at the empty plates on the table, Lin Rei smiled and took out a large sum of money from his storage ring. He threw it to Yun Kai and said, "Here's your money. Pay for the food and the room. If you're bored after this, go out with Xiefeng and walk around this prosperous Jade City. I believe that no one can do anything to you here." "Yes, I understand." Looking at the money in her hand, Yun Kai nodded and said in surprise. As for what Lin Rei said, he believed that this was what most girls wanted to do. After all, shopping was their natural instinct. "All right, Zhuge Mingyue, just watch." As he spoke, Lin Li turned his head and said to Evil Phoenix, "In a while, set up a seal on her body to prevent her from escaping. Remember, no matter what she says, you can't let her go. She's still useful." Looking at Lin Rei, Xiefeng couldn't help but roll her eyes and say to him, "I know. Stop being so long-winded. Do you really think I'm stupid? By the way, find a time to release my son. I haven't seen that little thing for a long time. I wonder how he is now. Oh, you still remember your son?" Hearing Xiefeng's words, Lin Rei said with a look of surprise, "It's been so long since I asked. I thought you had forgotten about your precious son." That I'll leave first." After saying that, Lin Rei immediately regretted it. The moment he finished speaking, Xiefeng's expression turned cold. Lin Rei immediately became terrified. Facing Xiefeng, he had no choice but to be terrified. After all, her strength was not just a little bit stronger than his, but by a large margin. According to his initial estimation, he would probably be able to catch up to Xiefeng in another 4,000 years. And in this 1,000 years, he would try his best not to quarrel with Xiefeng. Of course, when his strength increased enough to fight against Xiefeng, at that time, he would make up for all the grievances and humiliations he had suffered from her. Not a single thing could be left out. Puffed. This kid, at this moment sitting in his seat. With a cold expression, Xiefeng watched Lin Rei leave as if he was escaping. Instantly, her face was filled with joy. At this moment, Zhuge Mingyue, who was beside her, was filled with confusion. She had always been curious about the veiled woman in front of her. Although her cultivation was sealed, she could still feel the enormous power that came from Xiefeng's body that made her feel suffocated. She believed that even her own father or ancestors were nothing in front of this mysterious woman in front of her. At this moment, Lin Rei and Chu Si, who had just left the restaurant, were looking at the dazzling array of things being sold around them. However, in Lin Rei's eyes, they were all trash. He didn't care. After all, he had seen many good things. He really didn't care about these things. "Young master, I wonder what we are." Chu Si, who was following behind, asked. "Go to the Alchemy Guild and register as a supreme alchemist. This way, it will be easier to do things in Cheong City. Hearing Lin Rei's nonchalant words, Chu Si was speechless. What did he mean by registering as a supreme alchemist? If other alchemists heard this, they would probably rush up and fight him to the death. After all, the status of an alchemist was very honorable. No matter where it was, whether it was the outer layer of the realm of the gods or the inner layer of the realm of the gods. As long as one was an alchemist, whether it was in a sect or a guild, they would be greatly nurtured, especially a supreme alchemist like Lin Rei. There were probably only a few of them in the entire realm of the gods. Of course, there would always be someone better. Lin Rei believed that other than himself, there must be other supreme alchemists. It was just that they didn't like to come out into the world. Lin Rei, stop. The sudden voice caused Lin Rei to stop in his tracks. He was stunned on the spot, as if he had been immobilized, and the voice that stopped him was the little dragon, who hadn't appeared for a long time. At this time, the little dragon's voice was very hurried. His face was full of excitement as he appeared from the system and appeared in front of Lin Rei. Lin Rei attached great importance to the little dragon. Now that he was acting like this, Lin Rei was puzzled. What's the matter? Why are you so happy? Tell me. Hurry up and buy that thing. It can help me build my physical body. The little dragon said excitedly as he pointed at a black fist-sized stone on the side of the stall. What? As soon as the little dragon said that, in an instant, Lin Rei was shocked. For a moment, his heart was full of information. One must know that he had been preparing for the little dragon to build his physical body. Unfortunately, he didn't find any treasure in the realm of the gods that could help the little dragon build his physical body. Now that the little dragon suddenly said that, Lin Rei was of course happy. He also decided that no matter how much money the other party spent, he would be willing to pay. Even if he had to lose his entire fortune, he wouldn't hesitate. As he said that, the little dragon pointed at a black stone and it fell into Lin Rei's mind. For a moment, Lin Rei was stunned. At this moment, Lin Rei's face was full of disbelief and disbelief. After all, the thing he saw at this moment didn't have any spiritual energy. It wasn't even the 5 elements essence would that he imagined. Looking at that thing, Lin Rei was stunned and said, "Are you sure it's that thing?" "Yes, it's that thing, Yongtai. This thing is the first thing that came out of the chaos after Hongmeng split open the sky." Are you sure?" Looking at that black stone, he really couldn't imagine that it was something that came out of Hongmeng after the sky was split open. "Okay, just buy it." Sigh. Seeing the little dragon so excited, Lin Rei nodded in agreement. "Okay, since you said so, I'll buy it." With that, Lin Rei walked to the side of the stall. At this time, sitting at the stall was an old man. One of his face was full of wrinkles, and the other was wrinkled with mud. Looking at him, Lin Rei frowned. This person is not simple. Looking at the old man, Lin Rei muttered in his heart. It turned out that just now, when Lin Rei looked at his body, he felt a familiar feeling, and this feeling was the formation. However, this feeling flashed and disappeared without a trace. After all, he had never heard of a formation in a person's body. Of course, the world was big and there were all kinds of strange things, but he had never seen it before. Moreover, that aura disappeared in an instant. Again, he thought that it was his illusion. After all of his experiences were on the black stone placed on the stall. "Boss, how much is this black stone?" At this moment, the old man, who had been resting with his eyes closed, heard that someone wanted to buy something. His eyes flashed with a sharp light. But this flash was so quick that no one else could detect it, but Linley did. Hiss! This person! At this moment, the more Lin Rei thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. After all, that sharp light just now made him want to investigate the old man's actions. Looking at Lin Rei, the old man closed his eyes again and said indifferently, "The price of the black stone is 500,000 purple gold." "What? 500,000 purple gold coins?" Chu Si cried out in shock. Regarding this, even Lin Rei was stunned. He never thought that Chu Si would have such a big reaction. Moreover, he was the one who wanted to buy this thing, and he was the one who paid for it. He was a little stunned that Chu Ci was so surprised. Buy it or not, 500,000 purple gold is the only one. Buy it, pay up, or scram. Enough. Hearing this, Xiefeng was about to fly into a rage, but at this moment, Lin Ray hurriedly stopped her and said, 500,000 it is. Saying this, Lin Ray used his divine telekinesis and took out 550,000 purple gold from the system. He put in a storage ring and handed it to the old man, saying, here are 550,000 purple gold. 500,000 purple gold is for me to buy the black stone, and the extra is to compensate for my subordinate's rudeness. I hope you don't mind. Hearing Lin Ray's words, the old man opened his eyes, and a light flashed in his eyes. A trace of approval flashed in his eyes, and he said, okay, since that's the case, this old man will accept it. You can leave. Saying this, the old man closed his eyes again. Seeing this, Lin Ray immediately took the black stone and left the stall. However, before he left, Lin Ray didn't forget to take a look. After sighing deeply in his heart, he left. At this moment, Chu Ci was like a child who had done something wrong. She followed behind Lin Ray with her head lowered, her face full of embarrassment, and she didn't say a word. As for Lin Ray, he split his divine telekinesis into two and did two things at once. One was used to see the road, and the other was used to enter the system, and he handed the black stone to the little dragon. Ha ha! Sure enough, it's really this. At this moment, the little dragon held the stone with an extremely excited expression, as if it was the happiest thing in the world. I still can't believe that this thing without any spiritual energy can help you forge a body. Looking at the little dragon, Lin Ray still had an expression of disbelief. He really couldn't understand why the little dragon had to use this thing. After all, if the material used to forge a body wasn't good, it would hinder his future cultivation. To the little dragon, who was his teacher, friend, and father, Lin Ray wouldn't throw this kind of body to him. Haha, all right, don't be confused. Seeing Lin Ray like this, the little dragon's heart warmed for a moment, and he immediately opened his mouth to explain. However, his excited expression still didn't disappear. Although this young iron doesn't have any spiritual energy, it's the only thing I want to forge a body for. It's not for any other reason, but because it's very hard, and it's not afraid of any magic. What? It's not afraid of any magic? How is that possible? At this moment, Lin Ray was shocked. The words "not afraid of any magic" already showed that this thing was extraordinary. One must know that if he used this thing to forge a body, then when his cultivation level increased, he would be able to suppress all heroes and prodigies. At that time, who would be his opponent? That's right. Looking at Lin Ray's shock, the little dragon smiled as if he already knew that Lin Ray would be like this. Of course, although it's not afraid of any magic, it does have its drawbacks. Every time it's not afraid of any magic, there will be a period of recovery time. Maybe 1 day, maybe 10 days, maybe even longer. I still have to study this point. The originally shocked Lin Ray was now stunned. If that was the case, then he would still make the same decision as before. He was different because the little dragon used this thing to forge a body. But looking at the excited expression on the little dragon's face, he knew that no matter what he said, the little dragon would no longer listen to him. No, it seems like I have to find a better material for the little dragon as soon as possible. I hope he can change his decision today. In this regard, Lin Ray secretly prayed in his heart. Okay, you can go now. During this period of time, I will study it in my heart. When we arrive at the ancient corpse trove, inform me. Although I can't help you with the other mission, this mission is more than enough. Okay, I know you sigh. Looking at the little dragon, obsessively looking at the young iron in his hand, Lin Ray sighed and then left. Before leaving, Lin Ray once again tried to persuade him, but the final result was the same as before. In this regard, Lin Ray didn't say much and then left the system and returned to his body. Young master, we're here. At this moment, just as Lin Ray's other consciousness returned to his body, he heard Chu Ci's words. Immediately, Lin Ray stopped and looked at the words Alchemy Guild with his consciousness. For a moment, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Chapter 720. Let's go in and take a look at the Alchemy Guild. As he spoke, he took a step forward and walked into the Alchemy Guild, which had quite a bit of influence in the inner layer of the deity realm. Hey, quick! Master Yuan doesn't have much purple caltrip grass left. Hurry up and bring it over. Master Lu doesn't have much heavenly Yuan grass left. Hurry up and bring more. Don't neglect it. Buy something, bring it. At this moment, the scene outside was completely different from the inside. Although it was chaotic outside, it wasn't as chaotic as inside. At this moment, what appeared in front of Linley was one figure after another, all of whom were busy at work. Looking at this scene, Lin Ray couldn't help but smile. He hadn't seen this scene for a long time. Back in the immortal world, he had only experienced it when he was a grandmaster. At this moment, he looked at the busy people. Linley suddenly had the urge to open his cauldron and start concocting pills. Moreover, when he heard the words heavenly Yuan grass and purple caltrip grass, Lin Ray knew that they were indispensable ingredients for the heavenly Yuan pill and purple cloud pill. The heavenly Yuan pill and purple cloud pill were both grandmaster pills. Moreover, the pill formula was very complicated. If you want to refine them, it means that you're a decent alchemist. Looking at the busy figures, Lin Ray turned his head and said to Chu Si behind him, "Can you refine grandmaster pills now?" Grandmaster? Grandmaster pills? Chu Si's face was full of awkwardness. Sigh. Looking at Chu Si's expression, Lin Ray knew that he couldn't do it. All right, I'll go and become a grandmaster alchemist in a while. Just watch how I refine the pills. Of course, whether you can comprehend it or not will depend on your comprehension. When I refine the pills, I'll try my best to slow down. You can adjust yourself and be mentally prepared. Yes, I understand, young master. Chu Si exclaimed excitedly. His face was currently filled with indescribable joy. Ever since he had followed Lin Ray, he had very rarely had the chance to see Lin Ray refine pills. As a result, he was more than happy to have the opportunity right now. Even if his cultivation had to regress an entire realm, he would probably be willing to do so. After all, in his life, an alchemist was indispensable. In the past 1,000 years, he had experienced that humans were unreliable. Other than himself and the alchemical pills he refined, he had spent all his time with alchemical pills. Now that he heard that he could witness a revered great alchemist concoct alchemical pills, how could he not be happy? All right, don't be happy too early. Whether you can comprehend it or not still depends on yourself. I can't help you with this. Seeing Chu Si's reaction, an imperceptible smile appeared at the corners of Linley's lips. It disappeared in the blink of an eye. After saying that, Lin Ray released his divine sense and arrived at the front desk. At this moment, there was a woman at the front desk. Her face was delicate and pretty, giving off a comfortable feeling. However, because she was too busy, she didn't notice Lin Ray's arrival. Her head was still lowered as she busied herself with her own matters. At this moment, Chu Si, who was behind Lin Ray, saw that the woman was being so tactless and said in a low voice, "Miss, my young master has been standing here for a long time. Why didn't you greet him? You're very rude and undisciplined. Do you know that?" Perhaps because Chu Si's voice was too loud, the busy woman at the front desk cried out in surprise. At this moment, seeing Lin Ray and Chu Si, the woman at the front desk came back to her senses. Her previously frightened expression returned to normal. She then said with a guilty expression, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here." Saying that, the woman hurriedly bowed and apologized. Immediately, Chu Si felt a little embarrassed. His face turned red, and he didn't say anything else. At this moment, looking at the woman, Lin Ray's impression of her became even better. She was neither arrogant nor rash, respectful and humble. If everyone was like this, then this world would be perfect. It's fine. Saying that, Lin Ray said indifferently, "Today, I'm here to prove my identity as a pill refiner. Are there any rules?" Prove my identity as a pill refiner? Hearing Lin Ray's words, the woman was stunned. She then came back to her senses and said with a shocked expression, "Sir, you're saying that you want to prove your identity as a pill refiner?" Seeing the woman in a daze, Lin Ray was stunned. He then came back to his senses and said, "That's right. Are there any rules or conditions for proving my identity as a pill refiner?" At this moment, the woman's face was full of joy. She then said, "Yes, to prove your identity as a pill refiner, you have to pay money. Different levels of pill refiners require different amounts of money." "Oh, there's such a thing?" At this moment, Lin Ray was a little confused. He remembered that when he was proving his identity as a pill refiner, he was only given money to use the spiritual medicine. Of course, different places required different things. Lin Ray didn't say anything about this. "Yes, that's right." At this moment, looking at the blind young man in front of him, he wondered if the young man was really a pill refiner. However, the woman didn't ignore Lin Ray because of this. Instead, she was extremely patient. With a smiling face, she welcomed Lin Ray with a smile and told him everything he needed to prove his identity as a pill refiner. Pill refiners are divided into mortal, human, mystic, earth, heaven, king, emperor, sect, supremacy, saint, immortal, and Hongming. Of course, the exalted realm is also not bad in the immortal realm. Until now, there are only 2 exalted realm alchemists on the surface, and one of them is even a loose cultivator. This person's whereabouts are erratic, and he is truly a celestial being. "Oh, what about the other one?" Lin Ray asked indifferently. "The other one is the founder of the Alchemy Guild, by Tian Shan. This person hasn't left the mountain for more than 500,000 years. Until now, no one knows where he is. Some people say that he has broken through the shackles of the supremacy realm and entered the saint realm. Some say that because he hasn't comprehended, he is still comprehending pill, Tao, and cultivation in his ancestral land. Of course, there are different opinions. Everyone has their own version. Some people even say that he is dead. There is no conclusion until now." Hearing this, Lin Ray smiled and said, "According to what you said, these 2 supremacy realm pill refiners, although their names are in the guild, no one has shown up. Is there any difference between that and not having a supremacy realm pill refiner?" After being asked by Lin Ray, the woman didn't know what to say. She looked troubled. "Well, back to the topic. Let me tell you the rules of proving your identity." The woman saw that she couldn't win against the person in front of her. Then, she changed the topic and returned to the original topic. Proving your identity as a pill refiner, no matter if it is mortal, human, profound, or earth, heaven, king, and so on, they all need to pay the corresponding verification fee. Go to the mortal level. His verification fee is not good. It only costs 100 purple gold coins. "Oh." Hearing this, Lin Li's eyebrows furrowed, and his face revealed a look of shock. Purple gold coins, according to an ordinary person, 1 purple gold coin was equivalent to 6 or 7 years of an ordinary person's expenses. But just to be certified as a common grade alchemist required 100 purple gold coins. To ordinary people, especially those true alchemy geniuses, this was a kind of pitch-black road ahead of them. There were even some true geniuses who, because they couldn't afford this enormous amount of money, died prematurely. Of course, although he was unhappy with the Alchemy Guild, this was not something he could deal with. At this moment, he just wanted to end everything here quickly and then cultivate in peace. It was like advancing to the Holy Realm during the New Year. Only then would he have a chance to live. Yes, and so on. The mortal level requires 1,000 purple gold coins. The mystic level requires 2,000 purple gold coins. Until the emperor level, it requires 7,000 purple gold coins. As long as you pay the appropriate handling fee, you can go through the verification. Speaking up to here, the woman looked up at Lin Ray and continued, "If the verification is successful, the Alchemy Guild will give out the corresponding alchemist robe and the corresponding alchemist medal." And I understand. Hearing this, Lin Ray roughly understood. In other words, if he wanted to be verified as a venerable level pill refiner, he had to pay 8,000 purple gold coins. Thinking up to here, Lin Ray nodded. Then, with a thought, he took out 8,000 purple gold coins from his storage ring and placed it in front of the woman. And, seeing the young man like this, the woman hurriedly lowered her head. When she saw so many purple gold coins, the woman roughly estimated that this was at least the verification fee of an Emperor-level pill refiner. In an instant, the woman's attitude towards Lin Ray became even more respectful. After all, an Emperor-level pill refiner had a high status in the Alchemy Guild. How could she, as a receptionist, offend him? Thinking about this, the woman still lost. To be able to work here, one must have a cultivation level. When she checked the money, the woman's divine sense swept over and was instantly shocked. Her face was even more shocked. 8,000 this. At this moment, looking at the number of purple gold coins in front of her and the division according to the level, the idea of a venerable level pill refiner appeared in her mind. At this moment, the woman's mouth was wide open. She was so speechless that an egg could be stuffed into it. At this moment, the woman's gaze towards Lin Ray was filled with respect and fear. In the end, she even lowered her head and didn't dare to look at him again. Although she wasn't sure if Lin Ray had the ability to take out so many purple gold coins and to be verified as a venerable level pill refiner, her cultivation level must be so high that people looked up to her. However, towards Lin Ray, the woman still didn't dare to believe. She asked, "Sir, are you sure that you want to verify as a venerable level pill refiner?" "Ha! Of course, I have been in the venerable level for a long time. It's time to verify it. If I didn't help someone this time, I'm afraid I wouldn't have come." When she heard Lin Ray say, "I have been in the venerable level for a long time," the woman's heart was filled with shock. "Let's go. Go and arrange for an alchemist for me. The sooner we finish, the sooner we'll be fine. I still have things to do later." Looking at the woman, Lin Ray couldn't help but speak. What he said was true. He wanted to impart his alchemy techniques to Chu Ci in the following process. Then, he wanted to raise his alchemy realm as much as possible. Of course, if he could raise it to the master level, that would be even better. Of course, this was only one of the reasons. The other reason was Zhuge Minghua. Yes. I'll bring you in right now." As she spoke, the woman walked in front with a trembling body. She led Lin Ray into the depths of the guild. Looking at her, Lin Ray didn't know if she was excited or afraid. Lin Ray just smiled and didn't pay much attention to it. Soon, under the woman's lead, Lin Ray came to an alchemy room. Then, the woman stopped and said, "Senior, this room will do. You could go in first. I'll go and find our guild master to become a venerable level alchemist. At this level, only the guild master can make the decision." All right, go ahead." With Lin Ray's consent, the woman hurriedly walked deeper. The woman couldn't stop along the way. One had to know that becoming a venerable level alchemist was a huge matter. She knew that a small figure naturally wouldn't be able to supervise it. Moreover, a venerable level alchemist hadn't appeared for a long time. At this moment, the guild master was only a peak grandmaster level alchemist. He was just one step away from becoming a venerable level alchemist. Of course, this step seemed simple, but in reality, there was a huge gap that couldn't be crossed. At this moment, the dean was at the top floor of the guild. At this moment, in the dean's room, an old man and a young woman, a man and a woman, sat facing each other. The old man looked at the woman opposite him with a kind smile and spoke in a very gentle tone. "Yin Er, now that you're also a low-level Emperor-level alchemist, shouldn't you do something for the guild?" "Tisk, Grandpa Guild Master, don't think that I don't know. In the end, don't you just want me to participate in the alchemy convention in 10 days? Then, the woman reluctantly continued, "Grandpa, you also know that I don't want to be in the limelight. I only want to inherit Grandpa's legacy and become a top alchemist in the God Realm. So, I know, but you also know that there are many young alchemists in the guild, but compared to you, they can't compare to you in terms of refining. Moreover, you have a kind of heavenly flame in your body. You bang, bang, bang." Just as the old man was trying to dissuade the woman with a pleading expression, a hurried knocking sound came from the door. Immediately, the old man frowned. His expression was slightly unhappy. However, when he heard the knocking sound outside the door, he immediately thought that it was an urgent matter. He immediately gave up on arguing with the woman and raised his head. He said, "Come in." At this moment, the person outside the door was none other than the receptionist who had run all the way from the front desk. When the woman heard the sound coming from the room, her body trembled. Then, she mustered up her courage and pushed the door open. Seeing that the person who entered the door was a girl that he didn't recognize but looked somewhat familiar, the old man immediately asked, "What's the matter? Why are you so flustered, Lou?" "Guildmaster Lou, there's someone outside who wants to be verified as an alchemist. Please go and host it." Verified as an alchemist? At this moment, the old man thought that it was an urgent matter. When he heard that it was because of this matter, he said in a displeased tone, "Do you still need to look for me for this matter? Can't you just find an elder in the guild? All right, you can go now." After saying that, the old man waved his hand and signaled for her to leave. However, the woman continued to stand on the spot. In response, the old man who was addressed as Guildmaster Lou saw that the woman didn't have a chance. His frown deepened. In the end, the word Chuan was formed. "Guildmaster, I'm afraid that you're the only one who can verify the alchemist's identity. I'm afraid that the elders don't have the qualifications to verify the alchemist's realm." Chapter 721. What? The old man looked at the girl in confusion. He understood what she meant. One had to know that the elders of the guild were all emperor-level high-level alchemists, and some were even top-level alchemists. Even he, the guild leader, was only a zone-level middle-level alchemist. If the elders couldn't prove it, then it meant that the alchemist who had come was on par with him. However, he knew that he had never seen such a person in the entire divine realm. Therefore, he was very confused about the meaning of the girl's words. Even the woman who was called Yun'er at the side was at a loss and doubt at this moment. Of course, curiosity accounted for a large part of the confusion and confusion. Guildmaster, the person who came to verify the alchemist level is revered level. Boom! The old man's mind went blank. It was as if he was struck by lightning from the ninth heaven. At this moment, he seemed to have lost all his thoughts. At the same time, there was a strong sense of disbelief in his heart. Revered level. This level had not appeared for a long time. Now, one had suddenly appeared. Moreover, he wanted to verify his level here. This made him come back to his senses. The old man was not the only one. The woman called Yun'er was even more shocked than she looked. All sorts of expressions flashed across her face. Disbelief, doubt, bewilderment, dullness, and all sorts of other expressions flashed across her face and eyes. At this moment, the two of them instinctively chose not to believe. In their minds, it was impossible for a revered level alchemist to casually come out of the mountain. Moreover, he wanted to verify his level at this moment. Seeing the two of them in such a daze, the girl did not know what to do. When she thought that Master Wei was still waiting, the girl's heart was filled with anxiety. Time passed slowly. In the blink of an eye, 10 minutes had passed. At this moment, the old man and the girl called Yun'er slowly came back to their senses. Looking at the person who came to report, the old man was puzzled. He asked in a heavy tone, "The person who came looks young. Is he an elder of the Danzong sect? Is he the sect master?" This. Hearing the old man's words, the girl pondered for a moment. Then, she said, "It's not an old man. It's a young man. Moreover, he doesn't seem to be an elder of the Danzong sect." Oh! Hearing this, the old man frowned. His face was filled with a playful smile. After the questioning just now, he instinctively chose that person to be a swindler, because he didn't believe that a young man could reach the realm that everyone yearned for even in their dreams. He believed it, didn't want to believe it, and didn't dare to believe it. Tell him to leave? Grandpa Lou, since that's the case, let's go take a look. I want to see if that young man who claims to be able to refine venerable grade medicinal pills is really a venerable grade alchemist. Just as the old man was about to refuse, Yun'er quickly said, "Moreover, If it's true, then... At this point, he frowned. After a moment of silence, he raised his head and said with a smile, that's fine. Let's see what that swindler is capable of. As he spoke, he stood up and gestured for the woman to lead the way. At this moment, when the girl at the front desk saw the old man's actions, the nervousness and fear in her heart lessened a little. He then turned around and walked towards the pill room where Lin Ray was. As for the old man and Yun Er, they followed behind him, each thinking about something. Why isn't he here yet? Young master, could it be that the guild leader is too arrogant and doesn't want to come? At this moment, Lin Ray and Chu Si were waiting in the pill room, but the woman who went to meet the guild leader still hadn't returned. Lin Ray was fine, but Chu Si was furious. No, young master, why don't I go and call him? If he doesn't come, I'll use force and kidnap him. Seeing Chu Si's reaction, Lin Ray quickly stopped him and said, forget it. He probably doesn't believe that I'm a venerable great alchemist. After all, venerable great alchemists aren't everywhere, and I don't want cabbages or imperial great alchemists walking around everywhere. When Chu Si heard Lin Ray say that imperial great alchemists were walking around everywhere, he looked embarrassed. It wasn't because of anything else, but because he was one of the imperial great alchemists that Lin Ray said were walking around everywhere. All right, since they didn't come, I'll take advantage of this time and let you experience the techniques and feelings of a top alchemist. Sensing Chu Si's impatience, Lin Li hurriedly said to her, young master, really? Chu Si exclaimed, his face full of excitement. Of course. As a member of the Xuanzong Sect, Lin Ray, of course, you have to be a top alchemist to be worthy of me. After saying that, Lin Ray went into the room and sat down cross-legged. He took out a set of spiritual herbs that were needed to concoct a top-grade imperial grade pill, the heavenly mystery pill. Looking at the spiritual herbs that Lin Ray took out casually, Chu Si immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, his face full of surprise. He was envious of Lin Ray for being able to take out so many good things so casually. Although he was also an alchemist, and a mid-grade emperor-level alchemist at that. If he had to take out the same amount of elixirs as Lin Li, he wouldn't be able to do it, because he didn't have Lin Li's background. Lin Ray, who was about to ask for the spiritual herbs, asked Chu Si, this time I'm going to concoct a top-grade imperial grade pill, the heavenly mystery pill. Although its grade isn't high, when concocting it, you have to concentrate fully and not be distracted. Oh, by the way, how many of the pills you concoct usually have pill veins? Hearing this, Chu Si scratched his head embarrassedly and stammered, unable to say anything. It's fine, just say it. Lin Ray immediately understood from Chu Si's appearance that there weren't many pills with pill veins. Phew! Hearing Lin Ray's words, Chu Si took a deep breath, then gathered his courage and said, if you're dissatisfied, young master, actually less than 10% of pills with pill veins are formed. Sometimes they won't leave. Of course, if you're lucky, there might be 20%, but it's not certain. 20% is when you're lucky. At this moment, Lin Ray was silent after hearing Chu Si's words, because he didn't know how to respond to Chu Si's words. Lin Ray originally thought that no matter how bad Chu Si's alchemy skills were, he would at least have 30% of pills with pill veins. But with such a response, he didn't know what else to say. As the saying goes, innate deficiencies must be made up for later. At this moment, the only way was to impart his alchemy techniques to Chu Si, then help him refine pills and teach him. Only in this way would he be able to take first place in the alchemy competition. Of course, this was also the only way. During these 10 days, Lin Ray wanted a quick way to help Chu Si, because at this moment, there was no other way. Thinking about this, Lin Ray said in a low voice, all right, innate deficiencies must be made up for later. At this moment, you must use your heart to experience every pill technique I'm about to teach you. Without waiting for Chu Si's reply, Lin Ray's expression turned serious, and a mysterious and profound aura emitted from Lin Ray's body. Boom! At this moment, a blood-red flame jumped out of Lin Ray's palm in the blink of an eye. The instant the flame appeared, The temperature in the room began to rise. Feeling this flame, Chu Si's heart skipped a beat. Although he had at least seen it before, every time he saw this flame, he would feel a sense of fear and involuntarily take a step back. This was because he could feel the threat and the aura of death coming from the flame. This aura made him feel suffocated. Whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, Chu Si's gaze was very serious. He saw Lin Ray throw all the herbs needed to refine the profound sky pill into the flame in his palm. Then mysterious and profound seals appeared one after another. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. Suddenly, strange sound to be heard. At this moment, Chu Si's face was filled with jealousy, nervousness, and excitement. This was because Lin Ray wasn't using a cauldron at all. He was refining pills out of thin air. He had heard of this kind of refining before, but had never seen it before. After a short 30 breaths of time, one drop after another of various colored elixirs flew out from the flames, entering the pill bottle which Linley had prepared long ago. Watch carefully. This is the simplest refining to remove the impurities. However, the next step is the most important. The elixirs here all have different attributes. After finishing the refining process, Lin Ray began to explain to Chu Si. For example, the fiery sun fruit and the water lingji mushroom have two attributes that are incompatible with each other. As the saying goes, the 5 elements restrict each other. You have to learn how to neutralize these two elixirs. Only then will you be able to bring out the medicinal properties of the elixirs. Having said that, Lin Ray stretched out his hand. A vigorous spirit energy instantly rushed out of his palm and absorbed all the elixirs in the pill bottle. Then, drops of different elixirs were thrown into the illusory spirit blood fire, according to the ratio of the profound sky pill to the profound sky pill. Time passed bit by bit, and the spiritual liquid in Linley's hand was thrown into the flames bit by bit. His speed was so fast that it was as smooth as flowing water. This scene caused Chu Si, who was watching from the side, to stare in a daze. Huh! 9 Dragons pill splitting technique split. A sudden shout came out of nowhere. In the flame, all the elixirs that were originally fused together began to separate under Lin Ray's pill technique. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 6, 6 became 12, and finally, 24 elixirs became embryonic form. Only then did the separation slowly stop. 9 Dragons fusion mantra fuse. One by one, the mysterious runes seemed to come to life as they danced on Linley's fingertips. As they danced faster and faster, at a speed visible to the naked eye, the 24 embryonic pills began to slowly take shape within the illusory spirit blood fire. Round, fragrant pills began to take shape, emitting a sweet fragrance. After a short period of 10 breaths, Lin Ray shouted. Immediately, the flame in his hand disappeared and 24 purple elixirs floated above Lin Ray's palm. Phew! Looking at the elixirs in his hand, Lin Ray nodded with satisfaction. I haven't refined elixirs for a long time. I thought I was rusty. Whoosh! With a shake of his hand, the 24 elixirs rushed into the elixir bottles that he had prepared beforehand. Here, after doing all this, Lin Ray didn't get up. He casually threw 2 bottles filled with heaven-profound elixirs to Chu Si, who was standing beside him. Did you see it clearly? Lin Ray's consciousness locked onto Chu Si's every move and expression. He wanted to see Chu Si's reaction. I didn't see it clearly. You were too fast. I couldn't keep up with you. Chu Si replied to Lin Ray embarrassedly. Sigh. Lin Ray had already expected Chu Si's response. Moreover, he didn't have much hope. After all, his speed was indeed fast. The whole process didn't take more than 5 minutes. If the guild members knew that Lin Ray was refining elixirs, they would be shocked to death. Even a Grandmaster alchemist would need several hours to concoct Emperor-level pills. But if they knew that right now, Linley wasn't using his full strength in concocting pills and was only using 40% of his strength, they would probably go crazy. All right, I will help you during this time. After all, Your foundation in alchemy was too weak. You can only rely on the day after tomorrow to make up for it. Lin Ray pointed at the elixirs in Chu Si's hand and said, "Take a good look at this elixir. It has 8 elixir patterns. It can be considered the best of the best. I believe that even if you turn the entire god realm upside down, you won't be able to find many." 8 elixir patterns? Chu Si was shocked again. 8 elixir patterns meant that an elixir with 10 elixir patterns was a perfect elixir. Elixirs with 8 elixir patterns were the best of the best. Surprised, Chu Si hurriedly opened the medicinal pill bottle. Looking inside, she saw that the medicinal pills all had 8 pill veins. At this moment, the shock in Chu Si's heart could no longer be described with words. She was shocked to the extreme. While Chu Si was still in shock, the girl who went to call the guild leader arrived at the entrance of the elixir workshop. "Guild leader, Miss Yin, we are here. That lord is inside," she said to the old man and the young woman behind her, and pushed the door open. Just as the girl entered the room, the sound of pills rushing to her face rushed into her mouth and nose. This elixir." The old man who followed the girl and also smelled the elixir. As the guild leader, the name of the elixir immediately appeared in his mind. "Primary Heaven Elixir." Yes, that's right. It's the Heavenly Yuan Pill, a top-grade royal-grade elixir. At that moment, Yin Er, who was standing by the side, immediately opened her mouth and echoed the old man's words. Chu Si was still in a state of shock when she heard the commotion behind her. Without a word, she released her mid-stage Soul Emperor aura and rushed behind her. "SSS, this is the Emperor realm?" The sudden pressure caused the old man and the 2 ladies to be startled, causing their faces to turn pale. Chapter 722. Fear, Despair, Suffocation, Surprise. At this moment, all kinds of complicated expressions appeared on their faces. All of these expressions were reflected in the eyes of the 3 people behind them. At this moment, the 3 of them felt as if they were being stared at by a ferocious beast. It felt as if the beast would rush up and swallow them at any time. "Say, Senior, I'm the guild's president, Lu Yu. These are the Emperor-level alchemists of the Alchemy Guild. Bai, we didn't mean to disturb you. Please withdraw your pressure. I'm afraid that the 2 of them won't be able to withstand it." "Lu Yu? Bai." Hearing the old man's self-introduction, Lin Ray nodded and signaled Chu Si to withdraw her emperor's pressure. He stood up and patted the dust off his body. Of course, ever since he started cultivating, dust couldn't get close to him. At this moment, Lin Ray, he was just putting on an act. Taking a step forward, Lin Ray looked at the 3 people with his divine sense. He nodded and said in a low voice, "You're the president of the Alchemy Guild?" Yes. Lu Yu quickly replied, "I'm the guild's president, Lu Yu. I wonder if Senior..." At this moment, Lu Yu was very careful. Although her alchemy realm was very high, their cultivation was very low. Take Lu Yu for example. Although he was a middle-level alchemist, his true cultivation was only at the late stage of the Divine Monarch realm. He hadn't even reached the peak. Looking at him, Lin Ray nodded and said, "All right, since you're here, let's begin. I'll wait for you." After saying that, Lin Ray planned to turn around and refine the venerable level alchemy pills. At this moment, Chu Si had already withdrawn her pressure. However, just as he turned around, a woman's voice sounded. Her voice was filled with doubt. "Senior, are you really an venerable level alchemist? It's easy to become an emperor level alchemist, but it's very difficult to become an venerable level alchemist. Are you sure you're an venerable level alchemist? Don't fail to pretend to be a wolf with a big tail. Instead, you'll lose a lot of face at that time." Hearing this, Lin Ray's brows furrowed. His face turned gloomy. He then turned around and looked at the person who spoke. "Bai Yi, do you have time to talk to Bai Yi?" Lin Ray asked. "Yes, that's right. I am Bai Yi," when the woman replied. Her gaze was neither servile nor overbearing. She raised her chin high, as if she was looking down on others. Her gaze was even more arrogant. When he saw this, Lin Ray sighed in his heart and shook his head. He muttered in his heart, "Alas, I originally thought that this woman was a promising talent. I didn't expect that she would be so arrogant and dissatisfied. Of course, Lin Ray naturally didn't say these words out loud. Although he thought that in his heart, what he said was, "You want to know whether I'm a revered great alchemist or not? This has nothing to do with you. Moreover, in my opinion, you didn't even watch me refine medicinal pills." At this moment, Lin Ray's face was slightly angry. "In my opinion, this little girl's temperament is stronger than yours." As he spoke, Lin Ray turned around and waved at Chu Si. Then, he sat back down cross-legged. At this moment, when she saw Lin Ray's signal, she understood what he meant. She stepped forward and stood in front of Bai Yi. She said indifferently, "Miss, please leave. My young master doesn't wish for you to watch from here." As she spoke, she politely gestured for her to leave. "You." Seeing Chu Si's reaction, Bai Yi's expression turned cold. She was about to explode in anger. However, just as she was about to unleash her anger, Lu Yu pulled her back and said in a low voice, "Yin'er, you should leave first. You can't afford to offend these people." "I can't afford to offend them? What a joke." Looking at Lu Yu, Yun Kai's eyes were filled with mockery. She didn't hide her disdain at all. "I want to see how he's going to refine revered grade medicinal pills." Alas, seeing this, Lu Yu nodded in disappointment. Then, he continued, "Yin'er, the person in front of you is a mid-D emperor. If that's the case, what about the blind young man's stall? What about his background?" Lu Yu was afraid that Bai Yi wouldn't compromise, so he continued, "Besides, if he can have a mid-D emperor as his bodyguard, how strong is his background? This is very important. Even though your clan is very strong, I feel that this young man's background is even stronger than your clan. Maybe he doesn't even care about your clan." Honestly speaking, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to convince Bai Yi. Of course, he wasn't lying about his analysis. He really did see that Lin Ray wasn't an ordinary person. At the same time, he was afraid that Bai Yi would continue to cause trouble. "Please leave." At that moment, Chu Si spoke again. However, this time his tone was extremely cold. It was as if he was suppressing a terrifying aura. If Bai Yi refused him again, he would immediately kill her without mercy. Bai Yi wasn't stupid. She could feel that the person in front of her was suppressing his anger. Thinking about the terrifying aura from before, Bai Yi was terrified. "So be it. I don't want to see it." Bai Yi took a step forward and left the alchemy room. At this moment, the pill formulas were completely silent. Linley felt much better about this. Looking at Lu Yu, Lin Ray said, "I'm going to refine a pill called the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill. Do you know what it's used for?" "What? 9 Revolutions Profound Pill? That's..." Hearing Lin Ray say what pill he was going to refine, Lu Yu was shocked. His voice started to tremble. "That's right, the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill." Lin Ray smiled. Lin Ray had already expected Lu Yu's reaction. "Senior, is the 9 Revolutions Profound Essence pill the kind that can help a cultivator break through a realm and raise their cultivation by a small stage without any side effects?" "Yes, that's it." "This." After receiving confirmation, Lu Yu sucked in a breath of cold air. His eyes were filled with excitement. Of course, as a top expert in the deity world, there were many things that could pique his interest. However, Lu Yu is only interested in refining pills. Moreover, the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill was an upper honorable pill. This pill had been lost for a long time. Even its name and effects were only known to him from ancient books. He had thought that he would never see such a pill in his life. Moreover, although the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill was an upper honorable grade pill, its refining method was not inferior to that of a lower sacred grade pill. Not only was the material rare, but its refining method was also extremely complicated. What was more difficult was that refining the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill required extreme control over the fire. Now that he heard that the person in front of him was going to refine the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill, he began to believe that the person in front of him was an honorable pill alchemist. This was because not many people knew the name of this pill. Including him, there were less than 5 people in the deity world who knew the name of this pill. The more Lu Yu thought about it, the more excited he became. He wanted to see the entire process of refining the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill. He even wanted to obtain the 9 Revolutions Profound Pill, because it was the only way he could break through to the middle deity realm. With such a temptation, not to mention him, even an exalted realm expert might not care about their reputation and kill someone to steal the treasure after hearing about the effects of the pills. Little girl, come over here. Since you have nothing to do, why don't you watch how I refine the pill? If you can learn something from it, it'll be your fortune. At that moment, Lindley suddenly spoke to the receptionist in the room. Don't worry, Mrs. Scipia. Me? At this moment, when the girl heard the sudden words, he was a little overwhelmed by the favor. She had never thought of such a good thing. Although she had wanted to learn how to refine pills before, she did not have enough purple coins for him to do so. However, when she heard that she could give it to him, she was so excited that she could not help but cry. Ha ha! Seeing her like this, Lin Ray laughed and waved his hand. Instantly, a red spiritual energy rushed out and turned into a chain that bound her. Then, he shook his hand, and the girl was brought to a spot not far behind Lin Ray. Originally, Lin Ray wanted her to come closer to him. However, considering her cultivation level, he was afraid that she would not be able to withstand the temperature of the illusory spirit blood fire. In the end, he could only refine the pill behind him. After that, Lin Ray quickly took out the spiritual herbs needed to refine the 9 Revolutions origin pill and divided them according to their respective proportions. Boom! Suddenly, the mirage blood fire shot out of Linley's palm, floating in front of Linley as though it had a mind of its own. Hissed this flame. When the flame appeared, Lu Yu was shocked. He could feel the threat, fear, and even the aura of death coming from the flame. It was his first time seeing this kind of flame, but it was unforgettable. After all, this kind of flame did not exist in the world. Of course, Lin Ray's flame was the only exception. Whoosh, whoosh! At this moment, Linley moved. Linley stretched out his hand and tossed all of the elixirs that had already been distributed into the flames. At this moment, Lu Yu wanted to kill him. He had never seen such a method of refining pills before. He started to doubt whether the person in front of him knew how to refine pills. Of course, he did not say anything and continued to watch. The world was full of wonders. Just because he had never seen it before did not mean that it did not exist. Thinking of this, Lu Yu's eyes fell on the flame in front of Lin Ray again. At this moment, the girl who was sitting not far behind Lin Ray had been watching Lin Ray's every move since the beginning. I feel something, but why can't I grasp it? At this moment, the girl was very anxious. In fact, she was very anxious. Feeling the girl's strange movements, Lin Ray immediately separated a trace of his consciousness and landed on the girl. When he saw her appearance at this moment, Lin Ray immediately frowned. Sigh, it seems that I've thought too much. Letting a person who has never refined pills see such a profound alchemy technique will not only not help her unlock it, but also cause her to go mad. Thinking of this, Lin Ray hurriedly sent a voice transmission to wake the girl up and tell her to stop comprehending. Junior high school did not dare to disobey Lin Ray's order. After receiving the order, Chu Si quickly came back to her senses. She reached out to wake the girl up and let her rest at the side. The girl did not complain at all. After all, she was already very grateful that she was able to witness this moment. She did not ask for anything else. Moreover, during this period of time, she seemed to have felt something. If she were to refine pills now, she had a feeling that refining a human grade superior pill would not be a problem. Of course, this was just her wishful thinking. Whether it would succeed or not, she would have to test it out in the end. Ha! Suddenly, a loud shout attracted everyone's attention. They saw more than 30 drops of quenching liquid of various colors rushing out of the flame. At this moment, the moment the quenching liquid rushed out of the flame, Lin Ray took out the corresponding bottles according to the amount of quenching liquid on the ground. Dee-dong, dee-dong, dee-dong. More than 30 drops of quenching liquid fell into the bottles. In just a breath's time, Lin Ray had completed the process. If this had happened to someone else, I'm afraid. Huh. Phew. Next, it's time to fuse the pills. Looking at the quenching liquid that had its impurities removed, Lin Ray smiled. Then, he activated the flame again. His hands sucked at the 30 bottles. Suddenly, all the quenching liquid flew out and was poured into the flame by Lin Ray. 9 Dragon Elixir Fusion Technique, melt for me. With a loud shout, Lin Ray cast a spell that made everyone confused. At first, it was very fast, but at least everyone could see it clearly. However, as time went by, Lin Ray's speed became faster and faster. In the end, even his shadow could not be seen. Therefore, everyone could only give up watching. At this moment, the more Lu Yu watched from behind, the more shocked he became. At this moment, he was certain that this blind young man in front of him was indeed a genuine venerable great alchemist. Moreover, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that he was a saint-grade alchemist. Time passed bit by bit. The temperature in the room was getting higher and higher. At the beginning of the process, everyone could still accept it. However, as time went on, they could not bear it anymore. The heat was making them collapse. As for everyone's appearance, Lin Ray naturally saw it clearly. Although he was refining pills, he kept a trace of his divine sense on the 3 people behind him. However, to Lin Li's surprise, although the 3 of them couldn't stand it, the girl who had never refined pills before was completely different from before. Her eyes were wide open as she stared at him. She didn't even dare to blink for a moment, as if she was afraid of missing something. Seeing this, Lin Ray became curious. System, help me check all the information about this girl. Ding dong, yes, begin checking. Please wait a moment. 5 minutes, 8 minutes, ding dong, checking completed. Do you want to check? Chapter 723. Check. As soon as he finished speaking, all the information about the girl appeared in his mind in the form of words. Tianyu, 860 years old, peak of late heaven immortal realm, supreme grade fire attribute spiritual root, low grade wood attribute spiritual root, dual spiritual roots, high grade perception, high grade aptitude. Hey, it can't be. Seeing how good Tianyu's attributes were, Lin Li was tempted to recruit her. One had to know that although her attributes weren't the best, they definitely wouldn't be bad. Moreover, what Lin Ray could not figure out was why the guild did not cultivate such a good person in front of him. Of course, Lin Ray had a good impression of the guild at this time. After all, they did not recruit Tianyu. This time, he had benefited from it. Thinking of this, Lin Li had already decided to bring Tianyu back to the sect. Although she was only a heavenly immortal, this was after all just the beginning. Her mission was to become an alchemist. In the future, her cultivation would slowly rise along with her motivation to become an alchemist. Lin Ray was not very worried about this. He was just afraid that Tianyu would not leave with him. Thinking of this, Lin Ray had a slight headache. Originally, he wanted to recruit someone like Bai Yi, but after seeing her like this, Lin Ray was thoroughly disappointed. But it was also very good to pick up such a person. In other words, he did not return empty-handed. Thinking of this, Lin Ray's mood was slightly better. At this time, in the illusory spirit bloodfire, the pill fusion part was completed at this moment. Oh, 9 Dragons pill fusion technique fuse. With a loud shout, Lin Ray's pill fusion technique began to change. From the original 1 pill, the next moment, it became 24 pills. In the end, there was another change. The original 24 pills became 48 pills in the next moment. Each pill was round, smooth, and full of luster. At this time, the pill was different from the heavenly primary pill. The previous heavenly Xian pill had 8 elixir veins, but now, the 9 revolution heavenly Xian pill had 10 elixir veins. The fragrance of the pills wafted through the air. At this moment, the moment they smelled the fragrance of the pills, the 3 of them felt their realms begin to loosen. Hiss! Finally, my realm has loosened. At this moment, Lu Yu's face was filled with excitement the moment he smelled the pill fragrance. His heart was surging with excitement. The moment he smelled the 9 revolving profound origin pill, the bottleneck that had been bothering him for 1,000 years was finally broken. How could he not be excited? As long as he could break through to the next level, he would become an Emperor Realm cultivator. Edited by Lifer, Fingerfox. Sensing this, Luyu wanted nothing more than to rush forward and grab one. Air this. Hearing Lin Rei's question, Chu Si's face instantly turned red and a trace of guilt appeared on his face. Sigh. Hearing Chu Si's hesitation, Lin Rei knew that he didn't have any comprehension. However, after thinking about it carefully, he realized that it was his fault. After all, he was only an Imperial-grade alchemist. He couldn't force it. All right, since you didn't understand, from tomorrow onwards, I'll focus on teaching you the comprehension of an Imperial-grade alchemist, as well as spiritual herbs, pill recipes, and pill techniques. Yes, young master, I've already studied hard. In the alchemy conference in 10 days, I definitely won't bring shame to your name, Chu Si said excitedly. That's good. Although he heard this, Lin Rei didn't have any expectations. After all, he didn't have any expectations for this kind of competition. If it wasn't for the fact that he needed the help of the Danzong Sect, he wouldn't even have come back, let alone come here to verify his identity as an Imperial-grade alchemist. Say, my lord, this junior, just as Lin Rei and Chu Si were talking, a submissive voice entered their ears. Instantly, their gazes fell on the girl. Looking at her, Lin Rei smiled and took the initiative to speak. Little girl, I wonder if you're willing to be my servant and serve me? Ah, young master, you? Stunned, stupefied. In that moment, as soon as Linley said those words, the girl was stupefied. The nearby Chu Si was stupefied as well. This had happened so suddenly that Chu Si wasn't mentally prepared at all. Moreover, he hadn't seen through Lin Rei's intentions before. What? You don't want to? Looking at her expression, Lin Rei was stunned for a moment before hurriedly tempting her. If you become my maidservant, not only will you be able to rise above others, you will also become a respected alchemist. Your cultivation will also rise to a level that others can only look up to. Moreover, that's not all. Other than that, I can also guarantee that when you take me to the Saint's world, I'll take you with me and let you enjoy eternal life. Speaking up to this point, Lin Rei himself became excited. In short, as long as she followed him, everything in the past would not happen. He would become a god that everyone revered. At this moment, Chu Si, who had listened to the entire process, was so shocked that he was speechless. One had to know that even he didn't have to do this in the past. For a moment, he was envious of the person before him. A little girl, what are you hesitating for? This is such a good thing. Why aren't you agreeing? You should know that this kind of thing doesn't happen all the time. Noticing the girl's hesitation, before Linley could say anything, Chu Si hurriedly tried to dissuade her. Huh? Looking at Chu Si, Lin Rei chuckled and nodded to the girl. His face was filled with gentleness. For a moment, the entire pill refining room fell silent. Lin Rei, Chu Si, and the girl sank into silence. Lin Rei didn't rush the girl. After all, this was up to her willingness and couldn't be forced. As the saying goes, a forcibly picked melon won't be sweet. He didn't want to be treated as an unpardonable evil person. Dong, 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 the silence was broken. The three of them looked at the door and saw that Lu Yu, who had left, had returned. The difference was that Lu Yu was holding a black robe with his hands raised. On the robe was a palm-sized guild leader with a large black cauldron engraved on it. At this moment, Lu Yu walked over to Linley with a respectful expression. He bowed and said, Supreme Grade Alchemist of the Supreme Realm, this is your alchemist robe and your Supreme Grade Alchemist badge. Please keep it well. With this item, you can order any alchemist guild in the Divine Realm to work for you. They will work for you without any cost. And I understand. Naturally, he knew these rules. After all, he had verified his identity as an alchemist in the past. After receiving the alchemist robe and the president's robe, he immediately put them away. He wouldn't wear these things for no reason. After doing all this, Lin Rei looked at Tian Yu again and asked, How is it, little girl? Have you thought it through? I don't have much time. If you have made your decision, come with me. What? Lu Yu looked at the girl enviously when he heard Lin Rei's words. At this moment, Lu Yu wished that he was the girl, because then she would be able to obtain the true teachings of an alchemist and become a top-notch alchemist. However, what surprised Lu Yu was that the girl was still as hesitant as before. It was as if there was something that made it difficult for her to make a decision. However, most people would beg and beg for such a good thing. However, she was like this now. Hurry up and agree. Lu Yu, who was standing at the side, was also worried about Tian Yu. He really couldn't understand why she would be so hesitant when such a good thing was in front of her. Yes, agree. Young master doesn't accept people casually. The reason why he did this is because you are outstanding. So agree. At this moment, Lu Yu and Chu Ci started to verbally attack her, but the girl didn't seem to be moved. She looked at Lin Rei in confusion. After a few minutes, the girl seemed to have made up her mind. She let out a long breath and said, "Sir, may I ask why you want me to be your servant? Just like Chu Ci said, you have extraordinary talent and can become an alchemist. I don't want my gold to be covered in dust, so I want to take you in and teach you alchemy, magic combat, assassination, and so on. Of course, there will be a reward." Looking at the girl, Linley chuckled, then continued, "If I had known, most likely in the entire divine realm, or perhaps even in the entire universe, I would be the only person capable of producing such an item. Every single item is capable of driving all deities and saints crazy, so what is the reward?" She didn't care about Lin Rei's words. She only cared about what the reward was. That was all. Hearing this, Lin Rei was surprised. However, he quickly came back to his senses and said without hesitation, "When you have true strength, you must kill people for me. Kill those who threaten me. Of course, you will be my disciple, buy things for me, run errands, massage my back, and so on." The moment he said this, the confusion on the girl's face disappeared. In the blink of an eye, she smiled and said, "I agree. I agree to be your servant." Saying this, the girl quickly bowed and said loudly, "Servant Tian Yu greets young master." Good. Seeing her like this, Lin Rei smiled and took a step forward. When she wasn't paying attention, he grabbed her hand and prepared to leave. "But, senior, please wait." Hearing this, Lin Rei stopped. He didn't turn his head and didn't speak. Tian Yu turned around and asked, "May I know why the president called for my young master?" Looking at the girl in front of him, who was neither servile nor overbearing and was completely different from the submissive girl from before, Lu Yu was stunned. However, he quickly recovered and said, It's like this. I have been at the peak of the late divine monarch realm for 1,000 years. When I smelled the fragrance of a 9 revolutions profound pill, the shackles on me loosened a little. Moreover, with the special characteristics of the pill, I would like to ask for one from you. Of course, I am willing to exchange something of equal value for it. Senior, what do you think? Oh, what is it? Why don't you take it out and let me see? If it is really comparable to the 9 revolutions profound pill, then I would be more than happy to. At this time, it wasn't Tian Yu who spoke, but Lin Rei himself. After all, they didn't dare to make a decision on this matter. When Lu Yu heard Lin Rei's words, he quickly took out a stone that looked like an eye from his storage ring. Seeing this, Lin Rei frowned and couldn't help but reveal a look of suspicion. Chapter 724. Originally, Lin Rei thought that Lu Yu would take out something that would tempt him, but the result was not satisfactory. To be honest, Lin Rei really did not see anything that would tempt him about the eye-like stone in front of him. "Sir, listen to me, this thing is definitely a treasure, really." Seeing Lin Rei's slightly angry expression, Lu Yu's heart trembled and he hurriedly explained. Seeing Lu Yu's confident expression, Lin Rei was puzzled for a moment. What's so good about this thing? Isn't it just a piece? Just as Lin Rei was speaking, the little dragon, who had been silent, suddenly spoke up. "Lin Rei, quick, exchange with him. This thing is incredible." The sudden words made Lin Rei stunned. However, Lin Rei trusted the little dragon very much. Anything that could catch the little dragons, I was already considered shocking. Now that the little dragon was so excited, it could prove that this unknown stone in front of him might indeed be an incredible treasure. Thinking of this, Lin Rei instantly released his consciousness, and a trace of it went into the stone to investigate. Lin Rei, who had been looking forward to it because of the little dragon's words, looked more and more unsightly in the process of investigation. At this time, Liu Yu also knew that he seemed to have messed up. After a minute, Lin Rei, who had been investigating for a long time, did not find a trace of spirit qi in the stone at all, let alone a piece of jade. Immediately, he frowned and with doubts in his heart, entered the system with his consciousness and asked the little dragon, who was sitting cross-legged on the surface of the lake. "I've just observed this stone. There's not a trace of spirit qi, and there is nothing that would tempt me. Are you sure this thing is good?" Seeing Lin Li's confusion, Xiaolong slowly stood up. With a smile on his face, he said in a calm voice, "Damn it. Didn't I tell you before that if you wanted your eyes to be healed, what method would you need? You need to reach Saint." Just as he replied to the little dragon, Lin Rei suddenly seemed to have thought of something, and then his face became excited. Could it be that this has something to do with my eyes? That's right." Seeing Lin Rei so excited, the little dragon smiled. "You probably know that this stone is an incredible treasure, although I don't know why it was sealed, but I can tell you that this thing is not even afraid of Hao Yan when it was not sealed." Hao Yan. As soon as he heard the little dragon's words, he took a deep breath. His heart was indescribable. If even Hao Yan didn't fear it, one could imagine how powerful it was. But Lin Li couldn't understand why it was still acting like this. The Eye of Tendo contains the laws of heaven and earth. Possessing it is equivalent to possessing the power of Tendo. Tell me, with such power, it shouldn't be a problem to cure your eyes. The little dragon, who knew what Lin Rei was thinking, did not say it directly, but instead led him back to the original topic. Sure enough, after hearing the little dragon's words, Lin Rei put his previous doubts to the back of his mind for a moment, and then he said excitedly, "Really? Can my eyes really be cured? It shouldn't be a problem. Of course, there might be some accidents. Of course, I can still guarantee what you see, but..." At this point, the little dragon suddenly fell silent, and his expression became serious. Is there a problem?" Looking at the little dragon, Lin Rei was puzzled, because until now, Lin Rei had only seen a few things that could make the little dragon reveal such an expression, of course, every time something shocking happened. The little dragon nodded. "To help you recover your eyes, you can imagine the amount of energy needed. This time, I might fall into a deep sleep again. As for when I will wake up, I'm not sure. At this moment, Lin Rei hesitated. Although he really wanted to recover his eyes, he did not want the little dragon to sacrifice for him. No matter what, he did not like it. At this moment, Lin Rei fell into a dilemma. The scene suddenly became quiet. For a moment, the little dragon lifted his head and looked at Lin Rei's conflicted expression, and a warm current flowed into his heart. "All right, it's decided then." At this moment, the little dragon was very determined. "You are also going to enter the ancient corpse trove, and I originally wanted to help you, but now it seems..." "I can't help you," said. The little dragon smiled freely, full of indifference. "But it's fine. I've already healed your eyes." Hearing Xiaolong's words, Lin Li didn't know what to say, but as soon as the word left his mouth, something seemed to be stuck in his throat, and he couldn't say another word. At this moment, tears flowed from his eyes. At this moment, the world lost its color, and, at this moment, it was as if only the two of them existed. Looking at the little dragon, Lin Rei did not know what to say. Every time, it was because of him that the little dragon was forced into a deep sleep. At this moment, Lin Rei felt that his strength was still not enough, far from enough. Although he had now become an existence that ordinary people could only dream of, he still felt that his strength was far from enough. At this moment, he wished that he had absolute strength. If he had absolute strength, he would not have been injured by how Tion's divine sense in the 9 underworlds. If that was the case, then how long would it be now? Thinking of this, Lin Rei's hatred for how Tion became even more intense. He wished that he could have the strength to crush the heavenly court right now. This way, he could avenge himself and protect the people around him. All right, go. Take the Tendo's eye and then drip your blood to recognize it as your master. Now that the Tendo's eye has been sealed, it means that the consciousness in the Tendo's eye has been erased. This way, as long as you drip your blood to recognize it as your master, it will completely belong to you. This way, you can comprehend the Tendo's law within it, which will be of great use to you. Of course, such a thing can only be used as a reference. If I find out, you can directly operate the Tendo's law. At that time, even without the system's help, I will personally destroy you. Do you understand? As he spoke, the little dragon's face suddenly became gloomy, and his eyes were filled with a thick murderous aura, as if he would do as he said at any time. Of course, Lin Rei did not make any presumptuous assertions about the little dragon at this moment, because he believed that the little dragon would really do it, and it would be the kind that would do it cleanly. Yes, I understand. Lin Rei nodded in agreement, because he knew that no matter how much he refuted, the little dragon would still do it, and he could not stop it. Rather than that, he might as well say that the little dragon wanted him to and directly agree to it. Okay, after this alchemy conference is over, I will begin to help you recover your eyes. At most, it will take 20 years to help you recover your sight. Okay, I understand. Got it. Make the arrangements. As he spoke, Linley nodded and left the system, returning to his own body. Your Excellency, this thing is really good. Don't be fooled by its lack of spiritual qi. If you keep this thing by your side, the speed of your practice will be greatly improved. Believe me, I am not lying to you, Your Excellency. At this moment, Lu Yu's face was covered in tears and snot. He no longer looked like the president of the Alchemist Guild that everyone wanted to curry favor with. He no longer had the status of a mid-grade zone stage alchemist. He was simply like a child. Lin Rei, who had returned to his body, was stunned when he heard Gu Si's words. Then he came back to his senses and used his divine sense to check on Lu Yu, who was kneeling in front of him. For a moment, Lin Rei hurriedly supported him and said, President Lu, what are you doing? Isn't it just an elixir? I will exchange it with you. Quickly get up. What? You will exchange it with me. Well, why you don't want to? Lin Rei teased. No, I am willing. Of course I am willing. As long as you give me the 9 transformation profound pill, I will agree to anything you want. Excitement. At this moment, Lu Yu was so excited that he almost floated away. Of course, this was not important. What was important was that he had gotten what he wanted, the 9 transformation profound pill. Now, he could become an Emperor Realm expert. Looking at Lu Yu's expression, Lin Rei laughed and immediately said, It's nothing. Just give me the stone as I said before. After saying that, Lin Rei did not wait for Lu Yu to speak. With a thought, the elixir bottle containing the 9 transformation profound pill appeared in his palm. Then, he opened the bottle cap and the elixir shot out in an instant, landing accurately in Lu Yu's palm. Profound pill, 9 transformation profound pill. I finally got it. Looking at the 9 transformation profound pill in his hand, which was emitting a pill fragrance and had 10 elixir veins on it, Lu Yu could not help but exclaim. He even forgot to pass the stone to Lin Rei. Seeing this, Lin Rei frowned. President Lu, you have already gotten what you were supposed to get. Is it time for my young master to bring the stone over? At this moment, Tian Yu, who was standing aside, sensed Lin Rei's intention. Then, he took a step forward and stretched out his hand towards Lu Yu. Yes. Hearing Tian Yu's words, Lu Yu regained his senses and glanced at Lin Rei. When he saw Lin Rei's slightly gloomy face, cold sweat appeared on Lu Yu's forehead. His heart thumped heavily. He did not dare to delay and handed the stone over to Tian Yu respectfully. Then, he stood aside in panic, trembling slightly and not daring to say a word. Young master, this is your stone. At this moment, those stones Tianyu walked in front of Linley, propping them up with both hands and speaking respectfully. Heh, not bad. Linray was very pleased with Tianyu's performance. With a wave of his sleeve, Linray kept the stone in Tianyu's hand. After everything was done, Linray's face finally revealed a smile. Let's go. It's time for us to leave. With that, Linray stepped out of the pill refining room and walked out of the alchemy guild. Chu Si and Tianyu followed closely behind Linray, one on his left and one on his right. Phew, they're finally gone. At this moment, Lu Yu, who was in the pill refining room, felt that Linray and the other two's auras had left. Instantly, his tensed heart relaxed. At this moment, when he thought of everything that had happened, his body couldn't help but shiver. At this moment, Lu Yu couldn't help but pray that he would never see this person again. Jia. At this moment, the sound of the door opening entered Lu Yu's ears. A beautiful Bai wearing a blue shirt walked in from outside. Uncle Lu, has that person left? He Etienne. Seeing that it was Bai Yi, Lu Yu smiled. Uncle Lu, how was it? Did that person succeed? Did he fail? Like I said, how could he have succeeded? It's just that there's an Emperor Realm expert waiting for him. Bai Yi's face was full of disdain as she spoke. Shoo. At this moment, Lu Yu looked at Bai Yi, who dared to speak so boldly about Lin Ray. He quickly gestured for her to keep quiet. Then, he waved his hand and closed the door. He looked at Bai Yi with a serious expression and warned her. Yin you can't touch that person. Moreover, you don't have the ability to do so. You can't wait. As he spoke, Lu Yu's eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. That person just now was a genuine venerable grade alchemist. Moreover, he was a venerable grade high-grade alchemist. It could be said that even if it was a saint grade low-grade alchemist, that lord could handle it. What? How is that possible? Bai was shocked. Remember, don't provoke such a person. Even your Bai clan can't afford to offend him. Moreover, it's not just the person beside him who's an Emperor Realm expert. I can feel that his cultivation is much stronger than his follower. I can even say that he's a hierarch expert. Bai Yi was stunned when she heard Lu Yu's words. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. Uncle Lu, are you sure that he's a high venerable grade alchemist? Are you sure that he's a hierarch expert? And, seeing how anxious Bai Yi was, a bad premonition arose in Lu Yu's heart. Yes, I'm sure that he's a high venerable grade alchemist. There's no doubt about it. However, I'm not sure about his cultivation. At the very least, he should be a late god emperor. You, Putong. At that moment, Bai Yi seemed to have lost all her strength. She sat on the ground, paralyzed. Her face was pale and bloodless. It was as though she had lost her soul. What did you do? Lu Yu couldn't help but ask. However, his expression was exactly the same as Bai Yi's. It was as though he had thought of something terrifying. It's over. It's too late. At this moment, Bai Yi muttered to herself. Lu Yu, who was standing at the side, heard everything clearly. He seemed to have thought of something and asked anxiously, You didn't send Bai Jiang? That's right. I sent Bai Jiang out to secretly kill that person. Bai Yi looked up at Lu Yu and said weakly, What? You? At that moment, fear rose in his heart. At that moment, he felt that death was so close to him. It was so close that he felt cold. It's all over. Lu Yu gritted his teeth as he looked at Bai Yi, who was like a dead person. He wanted nothing more than to kill her. Chapter 725. Lin Ray and the rest walked out of the Alchemist Guild and returned to the hotel. Jia. At this moment, the door to one of the rooms that Lin Ray and the rest were staying had opened. A woman in red with a red veil over her face was carrying a person. This person's face was pale, and there was no sign of life in his body. Even his 7 orifices were bleeding nonstop. It was clear that this was no longer a living person, but a corpse that could not be said to be alive. Furthermore, the blood had not coagulated. It was obvious that this person had died not long ago. Lin Ray frowned when he saw this. He was slightly puzzled. You're back. The woman in red suddenly spoke. The person who spoke was Xiefeng. Yes, I'm back, Lin Ray replied. He then pointed at the corpse in her hand and asked, what happened to him? As Linley spoke, Chu Si's gaze turned towards him as well. He also wanted to know who it was that was so reckless as to offend this person. Others might not know, but he knew exactly how powerful the demonic phoenix was. Xiefeng waved her hand casually when she saw the puzzled look on everyone's faces. She then explained the identity of the corpse. Just before you all returned, this person suddenly appeared here and said that he wanted to kill everyone related to you. Hence, I directly refined and captured him. Then, I used the undying flame to force a confession out of him. Although the process was a little tragic, I was very satisfied with the outcome. Xiefeng then looked at Tianyu, who was behind Lin Ray, with a mocking expression. She then continued. In the end, this SD said that he was an elder of the Bai family. He said that you offended someone called Bai Kai something. Hence, he was sent to kill you and everyone related to you. Lin Ray frowned when he heard Xiefeng's words. After listening to Xiefeng's explanation, he now understood that the only person he had offended, other than the Danzong sect, was Bai Yi from the Alchemist Guild. However, what Linley didn't expect was that this woman would be so narrow-minded. She actually sent a martial emperor to assassinate him over such a small matter. At the same time, Cheong City's Bai family was now on Lin Ray's blacklist. He had said a long time ago that anyone who touched the dragon's reverse scale would die. He would not even allow those close to him to do so. Hence, when he made his move, the Bai family was already on the verge of destruction. Chu Si, give me his storage ring. As for this gift, give it to the Bai family. Yes, your majesty. Hearing the order, Chu Si stepped forward, arriving by Evil Phoenix's side. She respectfully accepted the corpse of the Bai clan's emperor, then removed the storage ring from the corpse's finger. After handing it to Linley, she disappeared from the inn. Lin Ray smiled when he saw Chu Si disappear. He did not say anything else and went straight to Xiefeng's room. Xiefeng did not stop him. However, ever since Lin Ray returned, Xiefeng had noticed that there was a good girl following behind Lin Ray. Although she looked all right, her cultivation was extremely weak. When she saw that she wanted to follow Lin Ray into her room, Xiefeng frowned. She reached out and bound Tianyu with her spiritual energy. Sensing that her body wasn't listening to her, Tianyu hurriedly turned her head to look at Evil Phoenix behind her. When she saw Evil Phoenix's smile, Tianyu knew what was going on. She immediately turned her head and looked at Linley with pleading eyes, hoping that he could help. Enough, Evil Phoenix. She's a servant girl I just took in. Release her. Let her stand guard outside. Linley said, his voice extremely calm. I understand. Xiefeng did not waste any more time. She retrieved the spiritual energy from Tianyu's body and walked towards her room. When Tianyu heard Lin Ray's order, she felt a little disappointed. However, she did not say anything and walked to the door. Lin Ray did not mind. He walked into his room and closed the door. Then, he found a place to sit down. Not bad, kid. You brought back a pretty girl after a trip. I was wondering why you did not bring your cultivation companion. So this is the reason. At this moment, a teasing voice was heard. Lin Ray felt as if he was sitting on pins and needles. At the same time, he felt helpless. Sigh, I say, can you not talk nonsense? Lin Ray did not know Xiefeng very well. However, he knew that Xiefeng wanted to explain. In this regard, Lin Ray did not hide anything and told her about Tianyu's identity. 5 minutes later, oh, you are quite cunning. You can even meet such a talented person when you are out. TSK, Tisk. Despite this, Linley could tell that a hint of smile had appeared on Demonic Phoenix's face. Phew, she took a deep breath and said, oh yes, how is Zhuge Mingwei? Oh, that little girl. Hearing Linley's words, the Evil Phoenix nodded and said, she's in the same state as you were when you left. She's locked in place, unable to break free. She can't use her cultivation, nor can she use her communication device. Right now, she's probably depressed to death. As she said that, Xiefeng laughed happily. Her voice was as clear as the chirping of 100 birds. It was mesmerizing. Even someone as calm as Linley couldn't help but stare blankly for a few seconds when he saw the evil phoenix's smile. However, after a few breaths, Lin Ray came back to his senses. Then he secretly operated his cultivation method and suppressed the desire in his body. Ha ha! As a martial sage, how could Xiefeng not feel the strange movements in Lin Ray's body? Xiefeng was very proud of this, because this was her ability. Air. At this moment, Lin Ray's face turned red. He was a little embarrassed, but he had to change the topic. I'm planning to go into seclusion this time. What? You are going into seclusion again? Xiefeng, who was still smiling, froze the moment she heard Lin Ray's words. Her smile naturally disappeared. Yes. Seeing Xiefeng make such a fuss, Lin Ray laughed and continued. This time, I am here to participate in the alchemy conference. But you know that Chu Xi's alchemy skills are really, really terrible. I have to take advantage of these few days to impart the alchemy experience of an emperor-level alchemist to him. With that, Lin Ray shrugged helplessly. Also, after this matter is settled, I plan to go into seclusion for about 10 or 20 years. Damn! Hearing 10 or 20 years, Xiefeng immediately cursed. Then, she asked in confusion, why? Isn't it just for the alchemy conference? Why do you need to go into seclusion? Seeing her confusion, Lin Ray struggled in his heart. He did not want to say it, but thinking that he still had a long way to go in the future, he did not hide it and told her about the Tendo's eye. It's like this. Just before I came back, I accidentally obtained an unconscious Tendo's eye. I want to use it as a medium to cure my eyes. Although it is not a big problem, it is not appropriate. A Tendo's eye. TSK. At this moment, Xiefeng's eyes were wide open. It could be seen how shocked she was when she heard about the Tendo's eye. Although she was a product of the Eldritch Age, she still knew about the Tendo's eye. However, at the same time, after hearing Lin Ray's words, Xiefeng's eyes were filled with worry. Are you sure that it is an unconscious Tendo's eye? If it isn't, then even if it was at its peak, I am afraid that it would not be able to suppress it. Hearing this, Lin Ray's heart warmed. Then he said firmly, yes, I have confirmed that it is unconscious. Don't worry. Phew, that's good, that's good. Looking at Xiefeng's expression, Lin Ray smiled. Then at this moment, his divine consciousness entered the martial arts practice field in the system. Before he left, he had said that he would release the little phoenix from the system when he returned. It just so happened that he had some time now. Otherwise, he didn't know how long he would have to wait. At this moment, Lin Ray was in the air. He lowered his head and looked at the big red bird lying in the middle of the martial arts practice field. Lin Ray smiled and called out loudly, "Hey, little phoenix, do you want to go out and meet your mother?" The phoenix, who was sleeping comfortably in the middle of the martial arts practice field, heard Lin Ray's call. Then, a bright phoenix cry came from the big bird's mouth. His voice was so loud that even Linley almost couldn't handle it. After all, he was nothing more than a strand of divine will. But of course, if his original body was here, even if the giant bird attacked him at full force, Linley would still be able to slap him to the ground. Although he wouldn't be able to slap him to death, he would be able to make him lie down for a period of time. Kid, don't talk nonsense with me. You're lucky to have stayed here for such a long time. Even Mother doesn't get such treatment. Lin Ray looked at him and snorted. His voice turned ice cold. Before he could refute, Lin Ray waved his hand and sent him out. Bam! At this moment, in the hotel's backyard, Xiefeng's room was originally quiet and complete. But all of a sudden, a huge creature appeared and squeezed the room. It wasn't just demonic Phoenix's room. All of the rooms within a radius of several hundred meters were filled to the brim by Linley's giant bird. Bam! 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 Everyone in Xiongzhou City heard and noticed the loud noises and vibrations. Small fry. At this moment, Lin Ray, who had returned to his original form, looked at the surroundings with a smile. F***CK kid, what are you doing? At this moment, just as Lin Ray was rejoicing in his heart, Xiefeng's voice suddenly sounded. Lin Ray immediately shivered and hurriedly turned his head to explain, I'm about to go into seclusion. He's been with me for a long time, so I should let him out. So, after saying that, Lindley no longer paid any attention to her. With a flash, he disappeared. When he reappeared, he was already on top of the giant bird's head. Kid, if you don't want to be used as refining material, hurry up and retract your body. If you're too slow, I can't guarantee what will happen next. T-Sich. The big bird rolled its eyes at Lin Ray and didn't retort. Its body suddenly shrunk. In just a few seconds, a young man dressed in luxurious brocade robes, with a head full of red hair, a jade-like face, fair skin, sword-like eyebrows, and starry eyes appeared. Compared to this young man, his handsomeness couldn't even be described as handsome. However, judging from his appearance, he was at most 17 or 18 years old. His body was also rather small, only about 6 meters tall. Looking at him, Lin Ray was taken aback. Then, he returned to his senses. Not bad. Little fella, you take after your mother. Lin Ray, can't you do it? Didn't I just absorb a little bit of chaos aura from your place? Do you have to be so stingy? Really? Ugh. Upon hearing his words, Lin Ray was speechless and mumbled inwardly. F***. How is that a little bit of chaos aura? You absorbed it for hundreds of thousands of years, okay? Even I didn't have the chance to enter it. Of course, Lin Ray couldn't possibly say those words out loud. Looking at him, Lin Ray could only smile instead. I say, can the two of you do it? Look at the situation now. What do you think? The sudden ice-cold voice sent a chill down Lin Ray and Big Bird's backs. They turned around awkwardly. Mother, this has nothing to do with me. It's Lin Ray's doing. I just came out. I want to take a good look around. I'll take my leave first. Swish. Before Lin Ray and Xie Feng returned to their senses, the little fella disappeared. By the time Lin Ray and Big Bird reacted, he was already dead. F***, another scammer. Looking at Xie Feng, Lin Ray knew that he had to leave this matter to her. At this thought, Lin Ray could only compromise helplessly. Looking at the surroundings that had turned into trash, Lin Ray felt a headache coming on. Sigh, forget it, who cares? As long as I build a house for you. Thinking about it, Lin Ray searched his mind for a spell that could do it. For a moment, everything that he had learned in his life flashed through his mind. Soon, a technique called the Earth Kuan Emperor Method appeared. Looking at it, Lin Ray smiled. The Earth Kuan Emperor Method was a technique. After cultivating it, coupled with the Earth Spirit Root, one would be able to cast some spells. What he wanted was one of them. Seeing this, Lindley didn't even hesitate before beginning to train in it. The requirement for the Earth Imperial Emperor's mantra weren't very high, and the highest level one could reach was the hierarch level. To Lindley, this was a piece of cake. Time passed by little. Xie Feng looked at Lin Ray, standing at the same place. The Earth Spirit Chi around him quickly rushed into Lin Ray's body. The amount was so large that Xie Feng was speechless. At this moment, Lin Ray did not know that after the loud noise and abnormal movement, the entire Jade Prefecture, regardless of whether their cultivation was strong or not, was rushing towards the place where Lin Ray was at this moment. Even some of the cultivators who were close to Lin Ray had already seen the appearance of the big bird. As cultivators of the divine realm, they could still distinguish the appearance of a phoenix. At the same time, they also saw the relationship between the big bird and Lin Ray. At this moment, there was a group of people standing not far away, observing and waiting for an opportunity to make their move. Chapter 726. For a moment, more and more cultivators came to investigate, and the area was surrounded by people. When they saw Lin Ray, who was madly absorbing the Earth's spiritual chi, and a woman in a fiery red robe, they were stunned. Hey brother, what happened just now? Why was there such a big commotion? Yeah, that's right, before I could react, the energy and the rumbling sound disappeared. Tell me, what's going on? Yeah. The people who came to investigate were filled with curiosity and asked the cultivators who had arrived earlier. Sigh, it's strange. In the blink of an eye, this place turned into a wasteland. However, I heard that a phoenix appeared here. Of course, I don't know if it's true or not. It's just hearsay. The cultivator who was asked replied calmly. Oh, phoenix? At this moment, the man's words stunned the cultivators who came later. Not to mention the fact that they were the elites of the major sects. Even the sect leaders of the major sects had never seen a divine beast like the phoenix. At this moment, Siefeng, who was guarding Lin Ray, felt her tongue dry when she saw the people around her chattering. She was afraid that they would affect Lin Ray's cultivation. For a moment, Siefeng glanced at everyone with a gloomy face. Her eyes were filled with coldness, and the cultivators who were swept by her gaze felt as if they were placed in a 10,000-year-old ice. The surroundings were filled with coldness, and those with weaker cultivation felt as if the Grim Reaper was smiling and waving at them at this moment. As she looked at them, Siefeng released her Sage Realm cultivation, and her coercion instantly materialized. Boom, bam, bam, bam. Suddenly, a series of strange sounds were heard. The cultivators within a radius of a few hundred feet fell to the ground the moment they felt Siefeng's coercion. Whether they were divine monarchs, divine emperors, or even divine venerables, they all fell to the ground at this moment without any strength to fight back. They were in an extremely sorry state. They swore that they had never experienced such a sense of powerlessness in their lives. Siefeng's eyes were filled with ridicule and disdain as she looked at them. I'll give all of you 10 breaths of time to disappear immediately. If all of you still haven't disappeared within 10 breaths of time, then I don't mind massacring all of you. Siefeng subconsciously licked her lips. He revealed a bloodthirsty expression. Hiss! At this moment, everyone couldn't help but gasp at the sight of Siefeng's face. Their hearts trembled and their bodies trembled. At this moment, they regretted. They regretted coming here because they had nothing better to do. They regretted their actions. Of course, there was no medicine for regret in this world. When they made their choice, they should have been calm about the consequences of this matter. We obey. Senior, please withdraw your pressure, and we will leave immediately. Just as the scene fell silent, a middle-aged man dressed in luxurious clothes spoke in a low but loud voice. His face was pale, and a trace of blood leaked from the corner of his mouth. Upon hearing the voice, Siefeng looked over. The moment she saw the middle-aged man, she understood that he was a peak mid-stage ultimate god cultivator. No wonder he could speak. Siefeng nodded as she looked at him. She regained some of her composure. All right, I'll leave him be for now. However, I hope all of you will keep your promise. You are not allowed to come within 100 feet radius without my order. If you violate my order, I'll kill all of you no matter where you run to. After saying that, Siefeng withdrew her pressure, but not her divine sense. She wanted to see if this group of people could disappear completely within 10 breaths of time. Run. The peak mid-stage, ultimate god middle-aged man did not say anything as he unleashed his fastest speed the moment he felt the suppression on his body disappear. In just a breath's time, the man disappeared within 100 feet of him. However, he did not stop and continued to dash forward. Cheong City was very vast. The middle-aged man rushed from the East City to the West City before stopping. The others were not as fast as the middle-aged man. After all, not everyone could have the speed of a peak mid-stage ultimate god. At this moment, it was like a great escape. Regardless of their cultivation level, there was only one thought in their mind. That was to leave this place as soon as possible. Get lost. Don't do that in front of me. I don't want to die even if you want to. Bastard, don't do that in front of me. I have parents and children to take care of. Don't push me. Mother of Asterisker, what are you trying to do? At this moment, there was a commotion. Siefeng frowned. She had forgotten to ask them to leave quietly when she spoke earlier. 4. Looking at the crowd, the evil phoenix spoke unhurriedly. However, at that moment, the crowd became even more excited and nervous. Their speed had reached a new height. Siefeng wanted to say, "It's all thanks to me. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to increase your speed so quickly." Of course, Siefeng would not say that. What she needed to do now was to count and clear the place so that they would not affect Lin Ray. 5. When the number 5 was spoken, the crowd felt that death was approaching. It was as if half of their bodies were already on the road to death. Get lost. Get lost quickly. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Mother, it's me. I don't want to die. I regret it so much. I hate it. At this moment, the crowd hated that their parents did not give them an extra pair of legs. 6. When the number 6 was spoken, the scene became even more chaotic. Even Lin Ray, who was cultivating, felt the ground tremble. 7. 8. At this moment, the peak divine monarchs had all escaped. This kind of pleasure was unforgettable for them. As for the people with low cultivations, at this moment, they were even crazier. Their speed unexpectedly broke through in order to escape from this place that was about to become a land of Azura. Looking at them, Xiefeng snorted coldly. Her eyes were filled with coldness. It was as if the people in front of her were already dead. 9. Oh no, I don't want to die. The people with low cultivations were basically certain of their fate at this moment. It seems that I have to kill people today. Seeing that there were still people trying to escape from the area he had set up, a bloodthirsty smile appeared on the evil phoenix's face. Then, his expression turned cold. 10. When the number 6 was spoken, Xiefeng's aura turned completely cold. She was like a piece of cold iron from the Nine Nether. Looking at her would make people tremble in fear. Touching her would make people die. It's time to hunt. Looking at them, Xiefeng was stunned. Instantly, a murderous aura surged. She released her cultivation and disappeared from the spot in an instant. Hiss! When she did that, the people who had already reached a safe place gasped. Their faces were filled with fear. Accept your fate. At this moment, Xiefeng's voice came from behind an early-stage divine monarch cultivator. What? He was very familiar with this voice that frightened him. Just as the thought of escaping appeared in his mind, he felt that his body was no longer under his control. He collapsed to the ground. At this moment, the man's eyes widened. His eyes were filled with disbelief. At this moment, he still couldn't figure out how he died. Of course, besides disbelief, he was more regretful. He regretted his curiosity. If he hadn't been curious, he probably wouldn't have died. Not too far away from Linley, Chu Xiai, who had just returned from the Bai clan, stared blankly at the slaughter before her eyes, her heart filled with shock. He couldn't believe it. Before he left, this place was bustling with life. But now, it had become a ruin and an Azura domain. At this moment, the moment she finished off one person, Xiefeng took the storage ring from his hand. Then, she immediately rushed to another person. There was no gap in time, only a breath's time. In a breath's time, she arrived next to the other person and killed him. Then, Xiefeng did the same as before. She took the storage ring of the other person and looked for another target. In this way, wherever Xiefeng passed, people would fall. One move. Everyone was hit by one move. The gap in time was always a breath's time, no matter how far away your despair. When the people who were still escaping saw this scene, they were completely in despair. They didn't expect this mysterious woman to have such shocking combat strength. They wanted to escape, but they were powerless because they knew that no matter how they ran, the final result wouldn't change. The only result was death. Xiefeng seemed to never tire herself to death. At this moment, she had completely turned into a killing machine. Other than killing people and collecting storage rings, she didn't care about anything else. At this moment, screams came from the mouths of the people who were escaping. Those who were targeted by Xiefeng basically became the Grim Reaper's best friend before they could even scream. This scene caused the hearts of the people who had escaped to tremble. They were extremely terrified, and they even began to doubt how they had managed to survive in the past. Phew! At this moment, Lin Ray, who had cultivated the Earth Emperor technique, had reached the 8th level. It wouldn't be a problem for him to restore the ruins in front of him to its original state. At this moment, Lin Ray withdrew his spiritual energy. Then, he came back to his senses and released his consciousness. However, at this moment, Lin Ray was stunned. At this moment, Xie Feng's body flashed and appeared behind a young man. She raised her sword and killed that person. Then, she kept the storage ring and instantly appeared behind another person. The cycle repeated. When he saw Xie Feng's actions, Lin Rei was stunned. He didn't know why Xie Feng was doing this. Damn, who made her unhappy? She actually went to this extent. Lin Rei muttered in his heart. He knew that Xie Feng was doing this because of him. She was afraid that the crowd would disturb his call. So, seeing Xie Feng's killing intent, Lin Rei frowned. Then his body flashed and disappeared from the spot. When he reappeared, he was already beside Xie Feng. At this moment, Xie Feng had already raised the butcher's sword in her hand and was about to chop the head of the old man. Bam! Just when the old man thought that he couldn't escape, he saw the soft, white, and blood-stained hand that was about to land on his head. Then, another hand appeared, and this hand magically grabbed the hand that was about to kill him tightly and firmly locked it in midair. It was only a pinky's length away from his head. He could see his own brain. Plop! At this moment, the old man, who felt that he was saved, fell limp to the ground. Something yellow and white oozed out his crotch. Suddenly, the air was filled with a foul stench. Damn, you old man, why aren't you leaving? You actually came here to poop. Do you believe that I won't care anymore? When he asked about the strange smell in the air, Lin Rei frowned and scolded him. Say, Senior, it's not that I don't want to leave. It's just that my legs aren't listening to me anymore. The old man was helpless. He also wanted to leave, but he didn't have the ability to do so. What the F***CK? Seeing him like this, Lin Rei ignored him. Then, he looked up and saw Xie Feng, whose face was covered in blood, looking at him with a smile on her face. Lin Rei's body trembled. At this moment, he felt as if he was being stared at by the Grim Reaper. It was very uncomfortable. All right, stop messing around. It's enough to kill so many people. Looking at her, Lin Rei let go of her hand. I know. Xie Feng nodded in response to Lin Rei's words and didn't continue to attack. Originally, she was afraid that those people would disturb Lin Rei's cultivation. Now that Lin Rei had woken up, there was no point in killing more people. As she spoke, Xie Feng casually waved her hand, and a storage ring accurately fell into Lin Rei's hand. This is their storage ring. Although I know that these things are not important to you, they're useless to me. Lin Rei didn't refuse. However, Lin Rei didn't even look at the storage ring in his hand and put it into the system. Let's go and clean up your son's mess. Looking at Xie Feng, Lin Rei said helplessly. Then, he went to the center of the ruins. Looking at everything around him, Lin Rei supported himself with both hands. At this moment, he completely released his peak middle stage God-Emperor cultivation. At this moment, Lin Rei circulated the earth attribute spiritual energy to the extreme. Gung plus Gui is the great grid. Gui's sun is the sun grid. Heavenly Yi Fu Palace, shocking shatter, rise. Hong long long, Hong long long, Lin Rei shouted. Immediately, the earth attribute spiritual energy enveloped the entire ruins. Lin Rei started building according to the foundation of the houses. At this moment, houses with earth elemental spiritual energy appeared in an instant, and each of them was very beautiful. Chapter 7:27. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, Lin Rei had conjured up all the houses that had been destroyed previously. Moreover, Lin Rei could guarantee that these houses were definitely better than the ones they had before. The spiritual energy of the Divine Emperor was not just for show. Moreover, it was Lin Rei's spiritual energy. One had to know that his spiritual energy was extremely pure. If the purity of spiritual energy was 100%, then his spiritual energy would definitely be 100% pure. Of course, this was also inseparable from the help of the little dragon and the system. Of course, most of it was still due to his own breakthrough back then. He had been compressing his spiritual energy to create his current state. Phew, it's finally done. In his divine sense, the houses that had been destroyed by the phoenix had all risen from the ground. But at the same time, because of such a large scale, Lin Ray had basically used up all the spiritual energy in his body. As a result, he was now extremely free. Looking at his own achievements, Lin Ray staggered and almost fell. Fortunately, CF Feng, who was beside him, quickly supported him. Otherwise, he would have definitely fallen. Looking at Lin Ray's pale face, CF Feng asked gently, "Are you all right?" "Ah, I am fine. I just used too much spiritual energy in my body. I'll be fine after some rest," Lin Ray said with a smile. That's good." With that, CF Feng supported Lin Ray and walked into the room behind her. According to the previous plan, this was the room that she had stayed in previously. In the room, Lin Ray came to the stone bed and sat cross-legged. Immediately, the spiritual energy within a radius of 10,000 meters disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. At this moment, more than 10 spiritual energy vortexes appeared around Lin Ray's body. The spiritual energy that had disappeared within a radius of 10,000 meters was now rushing into Lin Ray's body. There was so much spiritual energy that even CF Feng, who had been guarding by his side, could not help but click her tongue at this moment. Although he had seen it before, at least that time was different from the current situation. Previously, he had only seen 7 or 8 spirit chi vortexes, but now there was simply more than the previous time. At this time, CF Feng looked at Lin Ray with a strange look in her eyes and started to speculate in her heart. "Alas, I've followed you for so long, yet you still have so many secrets. I really don't know how many more surprises you will give me." CF Feng smiled bitterly and didn't say anything. He then found a clean place and sat down cross-legged. With a wave of his hand, a barrier appeared and covered the room he was in. At this moment, even if a supreme God-grumble cultivator tried to pry forcefully, they would probably be shocked and suffer an irreparable backlash in the end. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. Night fell, and a vast moon hung in the sky. A cold wind blew past. At this moment, the outside of the room was still the same as before. It was like an azure battlefield. The corpses that had been killed by CF Feng were not cleaned up at this moment. It was not that they did not want to, but they did not dare to approach. They were afraid that they would join the ranks of the dead. Such a bloody scene, coupled with the dark moon and strong wind, it was not an exaggeration to say that it was an azure battlefield. The path of the strong was originally a mountain of corpses, a sea of blood and white bones. This was just the path, after all, to become a strong person. The weak were prey to the strong. If you were not strong and were killed, it was only the law of this world. You cannot blame others. The saints said, "Survival of the fittest, and the unfit will be eliminated." All things in the world had karma and reincarnation. Everything was predestined. At the door of Lin Ray's room, Tian Yu was standing there. She had some injuries on her body, but they were not very serious. Beside her, Yunkai and Chu Ci had already arrived at the door and stood there respectfully. In the room, Lin Ray, who had been cultivating for the whole afternoon, stopped. Suddenly, the dozens of spiritual vortexes around him disappeared in the air. Phew! Exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, he stood up and sensed that CF Feng was meditating. Lin Ray smiled and did not disturb her. After all, CF Feng's cultivation was not easy. Of course, he knew that it was useless for her to cultivate here. He walked to the door and opened it. At this moment, the 3 people standing outside heard the door. They immediately turned around and bowed respectfully. Tian Yu, Chu Ci, and Yunkai greet the young master. All right, stand up." Looking at the 3 people, Lin Ray nodded. You're injured?" Noticing that Tian Yu's breathing was slightly weak and could even be said to be dispirited, Lin Ray frowned. He immediately thought of what the Phoenix had done previously. With a thought, over 10 bottles of pills appeared in his hands. Looking at Tian Yu, Lin Li said, "Of these pills, one of them is used for healing. The rest are all pills that can help increase one's cultivation level. On the bottle, it says when to use them." After saying that, Lin Ray stuffed the pills into Tian Yu's hand without waiting for her to speak. He then continued, "Yunkai, you're a girl, so it's easier for you to talk to Tian Yu. Later, teach Tian Yu your sex cultivation so that she can increase her cultivation quickly. Do you understand? Yes, young master. Yunkai understands. Thank you, young master. This servant will work hard to cultivate in the future. Yunkai was not dissatisfied with Lin Rei's arrangement. Her current achievements were all thanks to Lin Rei. Moreover, he had asked her to teach him the Danzong sex cultivation methods. All right, you can go now. Waving his hand, he dismissed them. Come with me. It's time to teach you alchemy. Lin Rei said calmly when he saw that Chu Ci was alone. Yes. At this moment, the happiest person was Chu Ci. This was because he was about to learn Lin Rei's alchemy skills. This was the most extravagant thing he had wished for in this period of time. With Chu Ci in tow, Lin Rei casually found an empty room and walked in. He then set up a grand level array to surround the room. This had almost become a habit of Lin Rei's. He was not used to being disturbed when he was refining pills. This was because not only would it cause the pill furnace to explode, but more importantly, his heart would ache for the spiritual herbs in the furnace. Every spiritual herb that he was refining could be said to be priceless. In the market, there was a price but no supply. Therefore, he did not want to waste them. As the saying goes, wasting is shameful. Lin Rei did not think that he was a shameful person. After finishing all the preparations, Lin Rei's mind moved and the worldly splendor instantly appeared in the room. At this moment, Lin Rei had compressed the worldly splendor, which was originally several feet long, to a size of 5 meters. When the worldly splendor appeared, Chu Ci immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. His face was full of shock. As a disciple of alchemy, the moment the worldly splendor appeared, he saw how extraordinary it was. Don't be envious. If you want, after this matter is over, I will refine one for you. His tone was full of indifference, as if it was not a matter at all. Really? Chu Ci was stunned for a moment before his face was filled with joy and excitement. Yes, after all, as an alchemist, if you don't have a good alchemy furnace, it is extremely disrespectful to alchemy. At this moment, Lin Rei's expression was very solemn and sacred. Yes, young master, I will continue to work hard. With motivation, Chu Ci felt that he had endless energy now. Looking at him, Lin Rei chuckled and said, You should first refine a cauldron of pills that are already your limit. Let me see your alchemy skills and the depth of your attainments. This way, I will be able to target some things that you don't know and give you some nourishment during this time. Yes, young master. Chu Ci nodded and prepared to start refining. Young master, I will use your alchemy furnace to refine. Chu Ci probed. I will. Looking at him, Lin Rei inwardly rolled his eyes and was filled with helplessness. Nonsense, if you don't use mine, do you want to use yours? Oh. Chu Ci nodded and did not say anything else. He took out a set of spiritual herbs from his ring and began to refine. Boom! A ball of alchemy fire, which Lin Rei thought was decent, rushed into the sky under Chu Ci's spiritual energy and began the most important step of alchemy, preheating. Preheating was the most important thing for alchemy. If the alchemy furnace was not preheated, although it could still refine pills, such pills would not be eaten by dogs. More importantly, the pills refined in that way did not contain much spiritual qi. There was only a trace of it. Not bad, this is a good step. Looking at him, Lin Rei smiled and nodded. Not long after, the preheating of the alchemy furnace was completed and Chu Ci began to refine pills. The alchemy fire suddenly increased, and spiritual herbs were placed into the alchemy furnace in an orderly manner. Damn, this is too. Lin Rei could not help but cover his eyes at this scene, unable to bear to look at it. He did not expect Chu Ci to be so old-fashioned and inflexible, completely following the order of the alchemy recipe. Sighing, Linley didn't continue watching. This was because he knew that if he continued to refine pills like this, the final result wouldn't be anything special. Not to mention the pill veins, even the medicinal effects would be greatly reduced. Lin Rei did not need to watch this kind of alchemy technique. 3 hours later, with a wong sound, the alchemy furnace trembled and a strange sound was heard. Lin Rei knew that Chu Si had successfully refined the pill. Young master, I've refined it, look. At this moment, holding his pill, Chu Si excitedly walked over to Lin Rei. However, when he raised his head and saw Lin Rei's calm expression, the fire in his heart was instantly extinguished. AI. Looking at Chu Si, Linley sighed and said, Chu Si, your alchemy skills, that's not right. This isn't alchemy at all. You're simply taking what your predecessors have already eaten and eating. How can you refine a good pill like this? Moreover, it took you 3 hours to refine this pill. Tell me, you have the face to smile. Lin Rei said without any trace of politeness. After saying that, Lin Rei took the mid-grade Emperor-level Huangji pill from Chu Si's hands and said with disdain and ridicule, This kind of trash, I was able to refine 8 pill veins on my first try. On my second try, I was able to refine 10 pill veins. After that, it has always been 10 pill veins. After saying that, Lin Rei did not waste any time and crushed the pill. Then, according to the formula of the Huangji pill, he picked out a portion from his ring. Boom! In an instant, the illusory spirit blood fire rushed out of Lin Rei's palm. Under Lin Rei's urging, the illusory spirit blood fire entered the heaven and earth splendor. The cauldron had been preheated before, so there was no need to waste any energy. Then, spiritual power surged out of Jing Lei's left hand, and he threw all the spiritual herbs needed to refine the Huangji pill into the universe. Watch. He told Chu Si beside him, and then began to urge with all his strength. A few minutes later, more than 30 drops of pi liquid were floating in the cauldron. All the impurities were catalyzed, leaving only the essence of the spiritual herb. Melt for me, he shouted coldly. Without hesitation, he immediately made a pill seal. In the heaven and earth splendor, more than 30 drops of pi liquid began to merge. Hiss! Chu Si, who had been watching, gasped. Her eyes were full of endless admiration and admiration. In the cauldron, more than 30 drops of pi liquid had merged into a ball. Then a small drop of pi liquid broke down at this moment. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, 4 became 6, and finally 24 drops. Pill formation. Linley let out a loud shout, and the droplets of pyrolite began to slowly coalesce into round, glossy pearls, forming into pills. A few minutes later, the pills were formed. The fragrance of the pills wafted out and filled the whole room. 9 Dragons Pill Formation Technique. Buzz. The pill was formed. The moment Lin Rei withdrew the illusory spirit blood fire, 24 streams of light rushed out of the cauldron and finally landed in front of Lin Rei, floating in the air. On each of the round and smooth pills, there were 10 distinct pill inscriptions on each of them. The whole process took less than 20 minutes, and a furnace of middle-grade Emperor-level pills with 10 pill veins appeared. Did you see that? You used 3 hours to refine such simple pills. You should know how many of these pills you can refine in 3 hours. At this time, Chu Si was very ashamed. He even wanted to find a hole to hide in and never come out again. Okay, enough nonsense. Now, I will teach you the pill formation technique, the pill fusion technique, and the pill formation technique. Finally, I will give you a trace of the illusory spirit blood fire. I hope you can refine it in 2 days. Of course, this is the best result. However, there is one thing I can tell you in advance. The process of refining the illusory spirit blood fire is very dangerous. As he spoke, Linley glanced at Chu Si. Seeing that he wasn't the slightest bit afraid, he continued, Because the temperature of my flames is extremely high, even a tiny bit of it is of an extremely high level. Most likely, none of the doubts of the deity realm can compare to it. Hiss! Hearing this, Chu Si frowned and his eyes widened in disbelief. At the same time, there was a voice in his heart that kept telling him that if he gave up this opportunity, his future achievements in the field of alchemy would be completely stagnant. Chapter 728. So, are you still willing? Lin Ray asked indifferently while looking at Chu Si. Lin Ray didn't force him to make this choice. After all, he had experienced the terror of the illusory spirit blood fire. However, that was because he had the little dragon by his side to protect him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to achieve what he had now. As the saying goes, one can become a Buddha or a demon with a single thought. Of course, the benefits were very obvious. If you could get through it, you would become a god. If you couldn't, you would become a cold corpse. Phew! At this moment, Chu Si's face was full of seriousness. He said in a low voice, "Young master, I have thought about it. I want it, no matter what the price is. Moreover, I believe I can get through it." Looking at his confidence, Lin Ray chuckled. "Alas. All right, since you have made your choice, I will do my best to protect you and make you suffer less. But you must remember that the process of absorbing and refining the illusory spirit blood fire is very painful, and you can't faint. Because if you faint, you will never wake up." "Yes, I understand, young master. I am ready." Chu Si was very determined. He wanted to absorb the illusory spirit blood fire. He wanted to become an expert in alchemy. He wanted to protect the people he loved. Therefore, he had to do this. Looking at the stubborn look in his eyes, Lin Ray was stunned. Then he nodded. "All right, then, let's begin." As he spoke, a pill with cold air appeared in Lin Ray's hand. Looking at Chu Si in front of him, Lin Ray's face was very serious. "Chu Si, this is the Ice Cloud pill. It is a high-grade zone-level pill. It can help you suppress the illusory spirit blood fire. Of course, although I don't know the effect, it is better than nothing. Eat it." As he spoke, the pill was placed in front of Chu Si. At this moment, Chu Si didn't argue. He nodded to Lin Ray and swallowed the pill without hesitation. Hiss! As a medicinal pill entered her mouth, a strange sound suddenly occurred, and a layer of frost began to spread on the surface of Chu Si's body. Not only that, at this moment, Chu Si could feel that her internal organs were currently being corroded by the medicinal power of the frozen cloud pill. Seeing his internal organs being frozen bit by bit, Chu Si became anxious. Even if he was beaten to death, he would never have thought that this pill would be so powerful. One had to know that he was a genuine middle-stage God Emperor expert. Yet now, he was being tortured to this extent by a single zone-grade pill. Actually, if it was an ordinary frozen cloud elixir, it would be fine as it wouldn't cause any harm to a God the Archrealm cultivator. However, the frozen cloud elixir that Lin Ray refined had 10 elixir markings on it. This kind of elixir could already be said to be perfect. Its medicinal strength was naturally more than 10 times that of an ordinary elixir. Therefore, Lin Ray had already expected that Chu Si would be like this. That's the effect I want. At this moment, Lin Ray, who was standing in front of Chu Si, chuckled as he saw Chu Si's vitality slowly fading away. Immediately after, the illusory spirit blood fire rushed out of Lin Ray's palm. At this moment, the temperature in the room that was originally filled with cold air started to rise gradually the moment the illusory spirit blood fire appeared. And at this moment, Chu Si, who was being tortured by the frozen cloud elixir to the point of shivering, felt the heat coming from the outside world. Immediately, she realized that this should be the effect of the illusory spirit blood fire. Separate. At this moment, Lin Ray shouted. A small strand of illusory spirit blood fire was separated from the whole body and wrapped by Lin Ray's spiritual energy. The moment that strand of illusory spirit blood fire was separated, the ball of illusory spirit blood fire was absorbed into Lin Ray's body. It's about to start. Conceal your spirit and protect your spiritual platform. You can't cut off your avatar. Once Chu Si's spiritual energy was sent out. Understood. According to Lin Ray's instructions, she operated her cultivation technique and adjusted herself to the best state. Go. So, the strand of illusory spirit blood fire wrapped by Lin Ray's spiritual energy drilled into Chu Si's body in an instant. The moment the illusory spirit blood fire entered Chu Si's body, Strands of green smoke were emitted from the surface of Chu Si's body as if something was on fire. A miserable scream came out of Chu Si's mouth, echoing throughout the entire room. Perhaps because Linley had set up a formation around the room, Chu Si's miserable scream was completely unable to pass through the room. At this moment, even though Chu Si had the support of the frozen cloud elixir, the illusory spirit blood fire was the most terrifying fire seed in the world. If not for Chu Si being a middle-stage god emperor, Lin Rei would not give it to her. It was not that Lin Rei was unwilling, but he was afraid that the illusory spirit blood fire would burn Chu Si into ashes. But at this moment, Chu Si did not seem any better. Even though he was not burned into ashes, the veins on his forehead were bulging, and a strand of light was swimming in his meridians. Damn! Sensing this, Linley let out a sigh. Alas, seems like I've underestimated the illusory spirit blood fire. I thought he could withstand a strand of it, but now it seems... Muttering, Lin Rei frowned. At this moment, he was very distressed. If he had known this, he would not have been so anxious. But there was no other way. Now that he was riding a tiger, it was too late to take it back. Looking at Chu Si, Lin Rei did not hide his strength. He took out an ice spirit bead. AI, you brat, you've really picked up a big bargain. Tisk TSK, I'm not willing to use this thing, but I didn't expect to use it on you. Lin Rei said reluctantly. AI. With a sigh, he stuffed the ice spirit bead into Chu Si's mouth as fast as lightning to suppress the temperature of the illusory spirit blood fire. Quick, circulate the ice spirit bead's cold air and freezing air. While the illusory spirit blood fire is being suppressed, quickly refine it. At this moment, Chu Si, who was suffering great torment, heard Lin Rei's voice transmission. Immediately, he did not dare to delay. He circulated the ice spirit blood fire to the extreme, channeling the cold air into his mouth, and began to confront the strand of illusory spirit blood fire. At this moment, one was hot and the other was cold. At this moment, Chu Si felt that he was going to die. He did not expect that it would be so powerful. At the same time, if he did not give it his all, he could only admit defeat and be burned into ashes. Suppress. With a roar, endless cold air rushed into his meridians and started a chase with the illusory spirit blood fire. While Chu Si was working hard, Lin Rei in the outside world naturally did not stop. At this moment, Chu Si was thinking about what kind of pills could be used to help the current situation. However, after thinking for a long time, he still could not think of anything. After all, these pills were given to him by the little dragon. Although some of them were pills that he had developed himself, most of them were for improving one's physical strength, mental strength, and soul power. At this moment, Lin Rei was regretting. If he had known this would happen, he would have asked the little dragon for more. No, I remember that I still have a scripture pavilion. At this moment, Lin Rei suddenly remembered that the system had been revived and opened the scripture pavilion. In an instant, Lin Rei's worried expression was swept away. Without thinking, he entered the system and teleported to the entrance of the scripture pavilion. Damn, it's so big. At this moment, standing in front of the scripture pavilion, Lin Rei was shocked. To be honest, this was his first time. If it weren't for the fact that he was looking for a solution for Chu Si, Lin Rei would have forgotten about it. At this moment, on the signboard above his head, the 3 words Scripture Pavilion were glowing brightly. Linley could sense the pressure emanating from those 3 words. Lin Rei knew that he did not have the ability to confront this pressure because the strength of this pressure made him feel inferior. Even if he rode a Pichio, he would not be able to catch up. He reached out and pushed the door. In an instant, the moment he entered, a fragrant smell came. Immediately, Lin Rei's mind was refreshed, as if he had been baptized by this fragrance. Damn, this is such a good place. Why did I only come now? Looking at the bookshelves in front of him and the dazzling array of jade slips on them, Lin Rei was mad with joy. Of course, although he was secretly laughing, he knew his mission this time. Thinking of this, Lin Ray shook his head and threw these random thoughts to the back of his mind. Then he began to spread his consciousness. The names of the jade slips quickly floated through Lin Ray's mind. There were saint-level cultivation techniques, divine-level cultivation techniques, everything. There were even cultivation techniques from the untainted era, such as Time Mirror and Wheel of Time. These were the cultivation techniques of the time and space demon god among the 3,000 demon gods in the untainted era. As the saying goes, time is king and space is emperor. Mastering two types of cultivation techniques and laws could be said to be an invincible existence in this world. Of course, this kind of cultivation technique required talent, comprehension, spiritual root, physical body, and so on. These were the basic conditions to practice this cultivation technique. After all, the current human beings did not have a strong physique like the ones born by heaven and earth. Looking at these, he basically glanced through them and only paused for a moment on the time and space cultivation techniques. Then, he continued to search. Time passed little by little. Lin Ray's consciousness had been cultivated before. The consciousness of an emperor god was boundlessly powerful. Even a peak ultimate god cultivator would not dare to say that his consciousness was stronger than Lin Ray's. Perhaps only a saint realm cultivator could be compared to Lin Ray's consciousness. However, even with such a strong consciousness, he still could not find anything after searching for such a long time. He even felt that he had only searched the tip of the iceberg in this scripture depository. Moreover, he sensed that his divine sense had extended for thousands of miles, and all the bookshelves within this area were full of cultivation methods. He didn't see a single book about combat methods, footwork, strange records, alchemy, formations, talismans, or weapon refinement. Seeing this, Chun Dan had a headache. He really wanted to stay and read slowly, but Chu Si outside could not afford to wait. System, tell me, is there any way to help Chu Si absorb that trace of illusory spirit blood fire? Helplessly, the only solution so far was to ask the system. Of course, asking questions came with a price, and the price Lin Ray had to pay was something he was very unwilling to hear. Hee, I thought you wouldn't look for me? The system laughed. However, this laughter was very sinister in Lin Ray's eyes. But there was no other way. How is that possible? How can I not want to ask for advice from an omnipotent system like you? At this time, Lin Ray's tone was very sincere. However, fortunately, the system knew Lin Ray's character. Otherwise, it would have been deceived by his tone and appearance. All right, same old rules. The system said helplessly, 1 million exchange points. If you can, I'll tell you. If not, you can find it here yourself. Damn it. The voice of 1 million was like a divine thunderhammer, heavily pounding on Lin Ray's heart. 1 million was very important to Lin Ray. Moreover, he might not even have 1 million at the moment. Huff. He let out a long sigh and recovered from the shock in his heart. He looked up and said calmly, I'll give it to you. As soon as he said that, the system laughed and said, Hee, I knew you would agree. Hearing this, Lin Ray was speechless. Ding dong. Do you want to deduct 1 million exchange point for the method to help choose CI? Yes or no? Hearing this song, Lin Ray's mood was very bad, but there was no other way. Yes. Ding dong. The transaction is successful. The method is to find the owner of the illusory spirit blood fire, to suppress it, and add a high-grade venerable level 9 transformation cloud pill. Stunned, confused, dumbfounded, stunned. At this moment, various expressions flashed across Lin Ray's face. You. Coming back to his senses, Lin Ray thought of the method that the system said. For a moment, he was so angry that his whole body trembled. His voice was so shaky that he could not speak. He could only say, you, as if he was stuttering. Boy, what are you? You have the illusory spirit blood fire. Don't you know how to suppress it? Moreover, the 9 transformation cloud pill is a best grade healing pill. Swallowing the illusory spirit blood fire will cause irreparable damage to the body and meridians. The 9 transformation cloud pill can heal injuries. Wouldn't these 2 methods allow that kid, Chu Ci, to pass through safely? At this point, the system seemed to be teaching Linley a lesson. Ha! Yes, system, you are really ruthless. 1 million exchange points. Okay, go quickly. F*CK, that little guy outside is about to die. If you are late, I'm afraid he will be burned up by the illusory spirit blood fire. The system urged. What? Lin Ray was shocked. At this moment, he felt guilty. Just now, he was quarreling with the system and completely forgot about Chu Ci's current situation. In an instant, Lin Ray withdrew from the system. He saw that there was already smoke rising from Chu Ci's head. It was a sign that she was about to catch fire. Lin Ray felt that the ice spirit bead that he stuffed into Chu Ci's mouth had disappeared. F*CK, I didn't expect that just a trace of the illusory spirit blood fire would be so strong. Even a heavenly treasure like the ice spirit bead is nothing. With that, Lin Ray did not talk nonsense. He knew that if he delayed any longer, Chu Ci would really be beyond saving. Bang! In the next moment, Lin Ray released his cultivation. Chapter 729. Suppress it. In an instant, a huge amount of spiritual energy poured into Chu Ci's body and began to suppress the illusory spirit blood fire in his body. At this moment, his other hand was not idle. His divine sense searched the storage ring for the elixir needed to refine the 9 revolving water cloud pill. Fortunately, Lin Ray had collected a lot of experience in the past. Otherwise, Chu Ci's life might have really been lost here. After removing the formula of the 9 revolving water cloud pill, the illusory spirit blood fire rushed out of his body and into the furnace. At this moment, Lin Ray did not dare to stay. After preheating the furnace, he hurriedly threw the elixir into the furnace according to the formula of the 9 revolving water cloud pill and began to refine it. The process of refining, fusing, and forming the pill could be said to be as smooth as flowing water. It was done in a single breath without the slightest pause. What was even more shocking was that throughout the entire process, Linley helped Chu Ci suppress the illusory spirit blood fire while forming pill seals with his hands. It was extremely smooth and extremely fast. One had to know that the 9 revolving water cloud pill was a high-grade venerable level pill. The whole process took less than half an hour to complete. Of course, refining with one hand was naturally not as good as refining with 2 hands. Only 7 elixir patterns appeared on the elixir. Seeing this, Lin Ray sighed in disappointment and said, "Alas, it seems that I have to practice more in the future." If there were other alchemists of the same level as him, if they heard what he said, they would definitely chase after Linley all over the world. At this moment, Lin Ray was suppressing the illusory spirit blood fire in Chu Ci's body while refining the high-grade venerable level elixir. Both were very good for the body. It would be very difficult for a cultivator who did not have a very good mental strength to do so. Moreover, the whole process took less than half an hour. Even a high-grade venerable level alchemist would be ashamed of their inferiority at this speed. With a sigh, he immediately pinched the elixir and sent it to Chu Ci's mouth. He transmitted his voice. "Open your mouth and eat the elixir." Hearing this in his consciousness, Chu Ci cooperated and opened his mouth. Suddenly, a chill entered his mouth. Before he could feel it, the chill went down his throat and traveled to his chest until it finally spread to every part of his body. The wounds that were burned by the illusory spirit blood fire have begun to heal. Chu Ci came to a realization. With such an effect, other than healing pills, there couldn't be anything else. Don't relax. Next, you have to refine it with all your might. I'll help you suppress it. Remember, you have to be quick. A day has already passed. You still have one more day. All right. Hearing this, Chu Ci responded in his heart. Immediately after, he circulated his cultivation technique to the maximum. At this moment, he realized that the illusory spirit blood fire that had been invading his meridians in a tyrannical manner had suddenly calmed down, as if it had sensed something that terrified it. Seeing this, Chu Si seized the opportunity and began to surround the illusory spirit blood fire to refine it. At this moment, Chu Si felt very relaxed. Although pain was unavoidable, every time she was burned, there would be a cooling sensation that would heal her. The cycle repeated endlessly. In the blink of an eye, 2 more paths had passed. This time, the estimated time was 1 day longer. However, there was no other way. There were too many detours on the first day. Moreover, what made Lin Rei's heart ache the most was that he had lost 1 million exchange points. Phew! Sitting cross-legged and refining the illusory spirit blood fire, Chu Si let out a long sigh. A trace of a smile appeared on his face, but his eyebrows were filled with fatigue. However, it was undeniable that Chu Si was very relaxed at this moment, because the dangerous time had passed. Moreover, just now he had completely refined the illusory spirit blood fire and integrated it into his own alchemic fire. Oh, it's finally over. Lin Rei sighed. Thank you, young master. At this moment, Chu Si heard Lin Rei's voice behind him. Immediately, he jumped up and bowed deeply to Lin Rei. His face was filled with gratitude. Alas, what am I doing? This is what you deserve. However, I didn't expect that this trace of illusory spirit blood fire would be so strong. It seems that I can't casually give the fire to others in the future. Otherwise, my old bones will be exhausted. As he spoke, Linley didn't forget to cooperate. He bent backwards, and instantly, the sound of bones cracking could be heard. F***CK. In response, Lin Rei could not stop cursing. Huh. Xiefeng chuckled when he saw his young master's reaction. He didn't say anything else, and simply stood there. Chu Si's action fell into Lin Rei's mind. Suddenly, Lin Rei said to him snappily, I say, since you've obtained the illusory spirit blood fire, hurry up and refine the elixir. Let me see how much progress you've made. What are you doing there? Oh, okay, I'll refine it right away. Chu Si replied immediately. Then, Chu Si sat cross-legged and took out a set of elixir formula for the upper grade Emperor level Heaven Cloud elixir. Boom! The moment the elixir fire appeared, the temperature in the surroundings began to rise rapidly. Lin Rei, who had been observing Chu Si's elixir fire, found that there were traces of blood-red flames in his elixir fire. Feeling Chu Si's elixir fire at this moment, Lin Rei's face revealed a smile that no one knew. He watched as Chu Si began to make pills. Although her movements were the same as before, Linley could tell that the pills that Chu Si was concocting now had a pill pattern on them. This was already enough. With this kind of progress, as long as Chu Si's flaws in alchemy and some other flaws in alchemy were fixed, he believed that Chu Si's alchemy would at least have 4 or 5 alchemy veins. Of course, this was just a guess. He had not seen Chu Si's performance 10 days later. Time passed little by little. Lin Rei's mind was constantly paying attention to Chu Si's elixir refining technique in his own cauldron. Buzz! A white light rushed out of the cauldron. Lin Rei knew that the elixir was refined. Swoosh! The white light rushed out of the cauldron and landed in the elixir bottle that Chu Si had prepared. Chu Si did not check the elixir he refined immediately. Instead, he closed the lid and came to Lin Rei's side to hand the bottle to Lin Rei. Young master, this is the elixir I refined. Please take a look, Chu Si said timidly. Sigh. Lin Rei did not want to say anything more to Chu Si's reaction. He picked up the bottle and scanned it with his consciousness. At this moment, a white elixir was lying in the bottle. The medicinal fragrance was rich. Lin Rei nodded in satisfaction. On the surface of the elixir was an extremely conspicuous elixir pattern. As expected. At this moment, Lin Rei was a little more certain about Chu Si's elixir refining. All right, take a look for yourself. With that, Lin Rei casually tossed the bottle to Chu Si. Hiss! Chu Si caught the bottle. Not long after, he sucked in a breath of cold air. His face was filled with shock and disbelief. The elixir pattern. I refined an elixir pattern. Ha! I refined an elixir pattern. At this moment, Chu Si's eyes were wet with excitement. Seeing him so excited, Lin Rei couldn't help but smile. However, this smile was fleeting. Chu Si did not notice it at all. At this moment, all of his attention was on the elixir. He was as happy as a 1,000-year-old child. After a few minutes, seeing that Chu Si was still as excited as before, Lin Rei couldn't help but reprimand him. What? You're satisfied with just this? You think you're amazing? It's good to be happy, but don't be blindly happy. The reason you can refine an elixir with an elixir pattern is all because of that trace of illusory spirit blood fire. Remember, you haven't learned anything about alchemy at all. Don't be as inflexible as you were before. Don't be as stubborn as you were before. Don't be as stubborn as you were before. At this moment, Chu Si was silent. The pride, excitement, and disbelief from before had completely disappeared. At this moment, there was only shame, endless shame. I was wrong. Don't say anything else to me. I just want to ask if I can study elixir refining an elixir in the next 10 days. If I can't, then... Lin Rei knew what Chu Si wanted to say and didn't give him a chance to shut up. Yes, I can. Chu Si said firmly. Good, in that case, let's begin. Seeing that Chu Si had returned to his attitude when refining the illusory spirit blood fire, Lin Rei smiled and said, I want you to refine that elixir 20 times. Remember, the elixir recipe is for your reference. Learn and apply it flexibly, understand? Yes, yes, Chu Si said with a guilty conscience. With that, a battle of elixir refining began. Seeing Chu Si working so hard, Lin Rei went to the side. He didn't have the opportunity to refine the elixir 20 times anyway. It would take a lot of time, probably a day. Since he had nothing to do, Lin Rei retreated to the side and began to comprehend formations. The Tao of formations was very strange and could be said to be ever-changing. At this moment, as a venerable grade formation master, it was extremely difficult for Lin Rei to take another step forward. Asterisk boom, one boom, asterisk one. In this way, the room would be filled with the sound of elixir refining every hour or so. This sound lasted for a day and a night. However, what was worth celebrating was that after Chu Si continuously refined pills, his speed of refining pills had also increased by quite a bit. Originally, refining an upper-grade emperor-grade elixir would take 1.5 hours, but after he kept refining, the time became shorter and shorter. In the end, he finished refining in an hour. At this time, the first task given to him by Lin Rei was also completed. In the blink of an eye, a day had passed. Phew! Linley had been using a strand of divine sense to observe Chu Si this entire time. After Chu Si finished her 20th attempt, Linley withdrew from his meditative state. How is it? What's the result? Hearing Lin Rei's question, Chu Si replied, Young master, I can already refine 2 elixir patterns. At this time, Chu Si was not as excited as before. Instead, she was full of calmness. Her face was very calm and indifferent. Seeing how calm and unhurried he was, Linley nodded in satisfaction. Remember, the pill formula may not necessarily be correct. But as an alchemist, you can't succeed overnight. You have to learn to be flexible. Now that you understand these things, in addition to the 3 alchemy techniques I've imparted to you, I trust that in 10 days, you will have made significant progress. Yes, young master, I will remember. In this regard, Chu Si nodded seriously and then waited for the next instruction. That's it. I'll give you 5 days to refine 4 danvanes for me. After that, you'll use another 2 days to refine all kinds of danvanes for me. After that, you'll use the remaining 2 days to learn how to mix and fuse spirit herbs. This is the most basic knowledge for an alchemist. However, it is often the most basic thing. It is indeed the most important thing to learn. Do you remember? Understood. I will start now. Saying that, Chu Si quickly sat down and began to refine elixirs. Looking at her determined back, Lin Rei smiled. Then, he He took out an elixir containing elixirs for refining upper grade and supreme grade elixir from his system and placed it beside Chu Si. Then, Lin Rei began to meditate again. He had helped Chu Si as much as he could. Now, it was up to Chu Si's own efforts. Bang, wong, time passed little by little. In the blink of an eye, there was only one day left before the alchemy conference. At this moment, in the entire Jade City, the upper echelons of all the major sects had arrived. However, in the area where Lin Rei lived, no one dared to make a ruckus. But beyond that, there was a hubbub of voices and it was bustling. This alchemy conference was very grand and luxurious. The entire alchemy guild was busy. In Lin Rei's room, at this moment, Lin Rei woke up from his meditation. He stood up and stretched his body. Then, he looked at Chu Si with his divine sense. At this moment, Chu Si was still refining elixirs. In the past few days, Lin Rei had been paying attention to Chu Si. Chu Si was able to refine upper-grade emperor-grade elixirs without exploding his furnace. However, when refining supreme-grade elixirs, Chu Si's furnace still exploded several times. Moreover, the explosion was very loud. Even Lin Rei was awakened by the explosion. However, he soon went back to meditating. These past few days have been extremely torturous for Chu Si. Aside from alchemy, there was nothing else she could do. In general, her alchemy skills had improved by leaps and bounds. Not only that, but even her control over her flames had improved. For this, Chu Si's gratitude and respect for Lin Li grew even greater. Looking at Chu Si, Lin Rei did not wake her up. Instead, he came to her side and picked up the elixirs on the ground. Oh, it seems that 4 elixir veins have been stabilized. 5 elixir veins have been refined. Not bad. You can be taught. Looking at the pile of elixir bottles in front of him, Lin Rei nodded with gratification. However, if you can fix all the bad habits and add to your alchemy experience, you may be able to refine better elixirs. However, it's enough for tomorrow's alchemy conference. Wong. At this moment, the roar of the elixir furnace was heard. In response, Lin Rei's face revealed a smile. Phew, finally refined. Fortunately, the furnace did not explode this time. Chu Si said to herself. Chapter 730. How was it? What's the result? Lin Rei asked from behind Chu Si. Young master? Chu Si, who was in a state of excitement after successfully refining the pill, was startled when he heard Lin Rei's voice. He quickly stood up and greeted respectfully. All right, what pill did you refine that made you so excited? Tell me about it. Lin Rei asked curiously. To tell the truth, Lin Li had already guessed what pill Chu Si had refined when he asked about the pill fragrance in the air. He had only said this to indirectly praise Chu Si. Yes, young master. Chu Si quickly replied. It's the Heavenly Stellar Pill, a top-grade Emperor-level pill. It's used to give a body refinement cultivator an opportunity to break through, and Heavenly Stellar Pill, TK not bad at all. Lin Rei was naturally familiar with the pill formula and effects of the Heavenly Stellar Pill, so he didn't wait for Chu Si to finish speaking before interrupting him. Give it to me. Let me see its quality. Lin Rei stretched out his hand and asked. Yes, young master. Chu Si didn't hesitate at all. She respectfully handed the pill in her hand to Lin Li, asking for his guidance. Receiving the pill, Lin Rei scanned it with his divine sense. Immediately, pill veins appeared and the medicinal fragrance was very rich. The finished product was 3/10 of his own. Seeing this, Lin Rei smiled and muttered in his heart. Brat, luckily I didn't waste my 1 million exchange points, otherwise I would have ripped you apart. Although he said this in his heart, he didn't show it on his face. Not bad, but remember, don't be impatient. There's still a long way to go. After this alchemy conference, go into seclusion for 100 years. If you can't break through 9 pill veins and become a low-grade Emperor-level alchemist, then go to the ancient corpse vault and feed the corpse king. Do you hear me? Chu Si's face was already gloomy. The mission Lin Ray gave him was difficult for most people to accomplish, but Lin Ray believed in him. He believed that he could do it, and even do better, as long as he worked hard. As a result, he made this request so that he could reach his standards faster, so that he could enter the Saint's world in the future. He could also leave some of the matters here to him. This was Lin Ray's recognition, trust, and affirmation of him. At the same time, this was also a kind of responsibility that could not be shirked. Seeing him like this, Lin Ray's face darkened. What? You don't want to? If you don't want to, I can. No. I'm willing. Hearing Lin Ray's words, Chu Si was shocked and hurriedly accepted. At the same time, Chu Si was vexed. He didn't know if his 100 years of beauty was enough, because breaking through to the first level of alchemy was no joke. As an alchemist, he was very clear about this. Lin Ray naturally knew about Chu Si's worries, but he didn't say anything. All right, you'll spend the next day familiarizing yourself with it. Tomorrow, beat those trash to the ground and let them know what alchemy is. Do you understand? Lin Ray said proudly. Yes, I understand. A trace of a smile appeared on Chu Si's face. Linley's words just now indicated that he had already acknowledged his pill refining skills. Thus, how could he not be excited? And go. Glancing at him, Chu Si waved his hand and removed all the formations in the surroundings, allowing him to leave. Lin Ray himself sat on the bed and looked at Chu Si's back. After leaving his room, Lin Ray once again sealed his room with a formation. In the room, Lin Ray sighed and came to the side of the alchemy furnace. Looking at the heaven and earth Huayu, Lin Ray sighed. Huayu, you've been with me for so many years. Now that I don't need a furnace for my alchemy realm, following me will only make you feel wronged. The moment it heard Lin Ray's words, the heaven and earth Huayu shook violently, as if it was saying, it's not wronged. I'm very happy to follow you, even if I can't refine pills, as long as I follow you. Sigh. Feeling the heaven and earth Huayu's aura, Lin Ray hurriedly said, No, you're my comrade, my brother, and my assistant. I know very well what an alchemy furnace will become if it's not influenced by alchemy aura. Moreover, it's time for me to help you level up. Wong. The sudden trembling startled Lin Ray. He hurriedly reached out and circulated his spiritual energy to calm it down. All right, this matter is settled. You've seen that young man just now. I believe he won't humiliate you in the future. Moreover, he already has my illusory spirit blood fire. Although it's only a little, but he's always been good. I believe he'll have great achievements in the alchemy realm in the future. I believe he'll definitely make your name known throughout the divine world and even the holy world. As he spoke, Linley took out the Empyrean sand from his storage ring, as well as the violet gold meteorite iron and some extremely precious forging materials. Linley had collected all of these over the years, and some of them had been found in the storage rings of others. At this moment, any one of the refining materials in Lin Ray's hands would cause rivers of blood to flow and mountains of corpses to form a sea of blood. This was because the items here were priceless and couldn't be bought. Moreover, some of the items here couldn't even be found in the divine world. It was conceivable that if these items appeared in the divine world, the consequences would be unimaginable. Today, I'll successfully promote you to a supreme grade divine artifact. I'll let you enjoy endless admiration. Lin Ray said excitedly as he looked at the heaven and earth Huayu in front of him. Wong. The heaven and earth Huayu shook twice. This time, Lin Ray could feel that the heaven and earth Huayu was full of excitement. It seemed that it had accepted his proposal. Seeing this, Lin Ray smiled. I hope this supreme grade divine artifact can produce a good spirit. Boom! The mirage blood fire suddenly charged out of his body. Staring at the blazing, heart-shaking flames, Linley didn't hesitate at all. He immediately tossed the Empyrean sand and the violet gold meteorite into the mirage blood fire, beginning to remove the impurities. The purple gold meteoric iron was a sacred grade material. Even Lin Ray himself didn't have much of it. Moreover, It was a reward from the system when he completed a task in the past. Originally, he wanted to upgrade the martial Emperor Divine Spear. However, thinking that he had already given the spear to his son, he didn't touch it. So, the purple gold meteoric iron was left in the ring. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. As a saint-level material, it was not easy to refine the purple gold meteorite iron. If it was an ordinary flame, a core flame, or a heavenly flame, it would take at least 5 days or even longer to refine the purple gold meteorite iron. However, Linley's illusory spirit bloodfire was a type of flame of extreme in the world. As the only one in the world, how could those small exotic flames with spiritual intelligence be compared to it? Time passed bit by bit. 3 hours later, there were no signs of me melting at first, but now there were finally signs of me melting. Well, there's still one night. I hope I can make it in time. Lin Ray looked outside and became anxious. The reason he had done this was so that he could give the worldly Huayu to Chu Ci. Originally, Linley had been thinking of casually giving him a deity-level pill furnace, but after some thought, he decided against it. In the end, he thought of his own worldly Huayu, which was why this scene had occurred. Slowly, while the purple gold meteoric iron was being refined, Lin Ray said that he would refine it for 10 hours. He waited from day to evening. At this time, the purple gold meteoric iron was finally completely melted. The impurities in it were also completely removed. Seeing the pure violet molten iron appear, Linley couldn't help but feel extremely excited. Now let's watch this noble one show off. As he spoke, Linley placed the violet molten metal into the container he had prepared, and then he tossed all of the remaining top-grade divine artifacts into the illusory bloodfire. Once more, he began to remove the impurities. This time, Linley took a shorter time. The reason why the violet gold meteorite took so long was because it was both a saint-grade material and a very high-grade saint-grade artifact. Thus, PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. After 3 hours, 16 pieces of the purple gold meteoric iron appeared in the prepared vessel. At this moment, a smile appeared on Lin Ray's face. But this smile only appeared for a moment, because the next step was the most important step. If this step was not completed, not only would the materials be wasted, but the grade of the worldly magnificent space would also be affected. Lin Ray did not want this kind of loss to happen. He did not want to see the worldly magnificent space appear, and he did not want his materials to be destroyed. No matter what, Lin Ray did not want to see it happen. Cloud weapon hand. Linley let out a loud shout. Immediately, he struck out with one spell after another. A heaven and earth splendor condensed from spiritual energy appeared. Then, Linley took out all the equipment he had prepared and instantly fused them into the heaven and earth splendor. Pong! A loud sound could be heard. The moment the fused materials fused into the worldly magnificent space, Lin Ray stood up and stretched out his hand. Filled with the spiritual energy of a middle-stage god emperor, he slapped the worldly magnificent space. Pong, 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 pong. For a moment, only the sound of Lin Ray slapping the worldly magnificent space was left in the room. And at this moment, the worldly magnificent space underwent a qualitative change under Lin Ray's slapping. It could be seen that the quality of the worldly magnificent space was increasing rapidly. This speed, if it was seen by the outside world, would definitely be scared to death. Although the worldly magnificent space was only increasing in grade, it had now increased by 1 grade to the peak of the middle stage god weapon. But at this moment, the speed of improvement did not stop. At this moment, the originally red light began to slowly transform into a purple light. Heavenly crystal weapon refining hand condensed for me. For a moment, Lin Ray's slapping speed became faster and faster. And amidst the mixed slapping sounds, a vague sense of order was slowly forming. Pong, 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 pong. Quickly, let me see what the effect of a supreme grade god weapon will be like. At this moment, the color of the worldly magnificent space's surface turned into a light purple color. For a moment, Lin Rei's face revealed a smile. At this moment, the worldly magnificent space had once again increased in grade to the peak of the upper stage god weapon. It was just a step away from becoming a supreme gray god weapon. But the gap between the two was like a chasm between the heavens and earth. It was simply too difficult for ordinary people to overcome it. The road ahead was bumpy. One heavenly primordial water, this time it's up to you. Looking at the color of the pill furnace and the aura that was slowly increasing, Lin Rei casually took out the one heavenly primordial water that could help to increase the grade of the weapon refining. Then, without hesitation, he merged it into the worldly magnificent space. Beezy boom! A strange phenomenon suddenly appeared. A portrait of mountains, rivers, birds, and beasts suddenly appeared in the sky above the worldly magnificent space. And among them, a little person in red clothes suddenly appeared. Weapon spirit. The moment he saw the little person, Lin Rei's heart trembled. Then, he immediately increased the smelting speed. Boom! The illusory spirit blood fire increased in intensity. Instantly, the entire worldly magnificent space was enveloped in blood-red flames, and the smelting speed increased. Time passed little by little. The worldly magnificent space and the weapon spirit were successfully smelted under Lin Rei's expectations. The weapon is done. Whoosh! The supreme grade divine weapon, worldly magnificent space, was successfully smelted by Lin Rei. A purple light instantly shot up into the sky and into the clouds. Rumble! Rumble! A thundercloud formed the moment the purple light shot up into the clouds. A terrifying pressure instantly enveloped the entire Jade City. SSS. Quick! Quick, look! Tribulation cloud. Is someone undergoing a tribulation? At this moment, the pressure of the thundercloud appeared. All the cultivators and ordinary people in Jade City immediately took the lead to look at it. TSK, idiot. That's not a tribulation. It's purple tribulation clouds. That's a tribulation cloud that can only be triggered by a divine weapon. Moreover, it's a divine weapon of extremely high quality. It can be seen that someone in Jade City has refined a terrifying divine weapon. Oh, could it be the Blacksmith Guild? At this moment, after hearing the explanation, everyone couldn't help but look in the direction of the Blacksmith Guild. However, the Blacksmith Guild was the same as everyone else. It was just that they were a little busy. At this moment, the president of the Blacksmith Guild, Liu Ruffeng, was very excited as he looked at the tribulation cloud in the sky. At the same time, he ordered the people around him, "Quick, go and investigate. We must find this person who can make a supreme gray divine weapon. We must recruit him into our guild. Then, our guild will be able to shake the 9 heavens and 10 earths." "Yes, I will go now." Hearing the order, the middle-aged man disappeared from the room in a flash. As for the person who had caused all of this, Linley, right now, he was in his own room, admiringly stroking the purple heaven and earth splendor. Lin Rei didn't care about the tribulation cloud outside at all, because he had already informed Xie Feng to get rid of the thundercloud above her head. To her, it was just a matter of a snap of her fingers. As the only work that he was satisfied with so far, how could Lin Rei bear to let it be baptized by the tribulation cloud? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.